starting up the stream again. Everybody, well, hold on.
No, I'm not gonna.
There
I'm
we
not calling
go.
Xavier a boomer.
Legitimately, Windows has decided to also reset my volume as soon as I resetted everything else. So for a second I was like, why isn't it working? Oh, it's also because of this.
Yeah, I should have suggested voice meter instead.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck's going on with the glitching?
Oh, don't worry about that.
Oh, is that a redeem or something?
Yeah, that's the redeem. Okay. Well.
I was concerned that your computer was eating itself whole.
I have this funny feeling that eventually it will. Hey, at least this saves me a little bit of trouble in regards to what I put up on the VOD. I want to get at least 3 of these volumes done tonight. Because I realized,
whole 3?
Yeah, because I realized that we got 6 total, and I kind of want to finish before the end of the week. I want to take next week off.
All right, sure.
Hi, Matanui.
So you want to push ahead?
Yes.
You want to
ram through.
Push past 1 a.m.
A little bit. Hopefully.
All right. Blah blah blah. Friendship. Blah.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
So you'll do Boulder because we already said we already discussed why I'll be doing Stilsa.
Yeah.
You just aren't feeling it today. You're getting more and more of these gray nights recently. Nights that just where the call of the streets, that infinite ramble for friendship, just sounds exhausting and meaningless.
What?
Oh, sorry, it cut me back. It cut me out of the thing for a second. You had days like this back on Earth too, when getting out of bed just didn't seem worth it. The sun is just beginning to slip under the horizon, and usually this would be the sign to rise and shine or rise and dark. But you've managed to do so far all you've managed to do so far this evening is make yourself some coffee. You recently mentioned to Dagora that you drink instant, and he was so disgusted that he gave you a coffee machine. He claimed it was an old one he doesn't use anymore, but it still had the price tag on it. On the table sits a palm husk Connell had taken off a dead kid, especially for you, and cradled in your hand is a mug Skilla sent. It looks like she painted it herself. There's a white blob on the side that you think is supposed to be Lady. You're even wearing the hoodie Malik gave you to cut the evening chill. Here you are, all wrapped up in the warm embraces of your friend's goodwill, safe and sound, but deep inside you festers something. A gnawing existential dissatisfaction, that classic angst the philosophers wrote about. Your palm husk chimes you to pick it up lazily. What, another rando trying to slide into your DMs? Sorry, folks, you just don't have the time for that anymore. You are a friendship connoisseur, a sommelier of the rarest and amicable vintages. You unlock the screen to find a message.
Psst. I'm not certain that this line is secure. Actually, I'm positive that it isn't, but I'm risking contact because it's imperative that we speak. I'm sending you rendezvous coordinates. If you wouldn't mind coming any time after the sun is set. I realize that this is unorthodox, but please believe me when I tell you that this is not a trick or a trap. I have important information regarding your place on Alternia.
I also would encourage whispering for this character, or trying, like getting real close and psst, hey,
hey, you want to see something? Want to see some fun?
Because this character is very sneaky. You attempt to reply to the message, but there isn't a cursor or anywhere to input text. In fact, there doesn't even appear to be a messenger app open on your phone. It's just a random text box floating in the void. You barely have a chance to read it all the way through before it vanishes, and Google Maps opens with an address already programmed in. It's close enough to walk to, which is great because using your stolen scuttle buggy still makes you a little nervous. You swallow the rest of your coffee and grab your shoes. Your GPS leads you to a shop you recognize. It's the cafe from your weird sort of date with Lanera. It's not too crowded at this time of day. The usual studying crowd doesn't appear to be here. A couple trolls are sitting around sharing pots of tea.
Fool. Fucking idiot. I explicitly stated I wanted Essence of Dayglow, not whatever this garbage is.
Oh, you know this person. It really has been a minute, hasn't it? Ardata stands in front of the counter, shouting at the cash register. Whatever automated system runs the shop has apparently gotten her order wrong.
What are you looking at? This is absolutely none of your... Oh. It's you.
Ardata swiftly covers up her surprise, examining a sharp, perfectly shaped nail.
You look different.
Better?
Let's not exaggerate. I simply meant you look less like toxic waste and more like run-of-the-grain grinder garbage.
You tell Ardata that it's good to see her too. Man, this really takes you back. You've been so simple back then, so unevolved. You were laser focused on a single desire: friendship. Now, well, you still like friends. You really do. But you also have, like, a car and a sweatshirt with somebody's sign on it. You've moved up in the world.
Fascinating.
Oh, by the way, is she the one who summoned you here?
Summoned? You? You must be joking. I haven't spared a single solitary thought for you since you dragged your wretched carcass out of my hive.
Absently, you push your hand into the pockets of your hoodie. Something crinkles between your fingers, and you pull out a folded piece of notebook paper. Okay, this definitely hadn't been there when you left your hive. You passed a couple people on the street, but definitely don't remember any of them getting close enough to slip something in your pocket. Huh. It only says 2 words. Out back. Oh man, should you go?
Yo, okay. Wait, oh fuck, I forgot to reopen Opera with all of this. Hopefully nothing shits the bed as I open up Opera. Hey OBS, you want to stop being a piece of shit?
You just have. Oh, there it is. You're
Yep.
back. You're back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
OBS is a piece of shit that doesn't like bit when I fucking open up something else. Like, I don't know. Ah. Anyway, so there's the poll. It's legitimately, I even had that thought of, oh, hopefully it won't. Fuck y'all. I sit back. Why is my health full again? What?
Here, I've got a coin. Heads 1, tails 2. It's
Yeah.
funny because I don't think anyone else voted. I was just sat there going between them and voting twice and going back and forth, just pumping them both up.
God.
All right. All right. Looks like we're doing 1 first.
Okay, go, go, go.
Let's be real here. If you were ever going to refuse a suspicious invitation, you would have done it by now. You would have drawn the line at vehicle theft or murder church or anime club. You can't resist a social engagement. It's your tragic flaw.
Okay, I guess. Enjoy yourself.
You head back through a beaded curtain, half expecting an alarm to ring. How do they keep people from just robbing stores here? Are there like lasers and shit? You emerge into a tidy little back garden. None of the plants here are the ones you recognize from Earth, but it's still nice. You cross a bridge over a slow-flowing stream and find yourself looking down at a path that blooms into a tight, dizzying spiral. Maybe you're supposed to walk across it and ponder your place in the universe. Your contemplation would be inevitably cut off before it hits its climax, because someone is sitting at the center of the spiral. She is a small, compact shape, with her hair cut short and choppy around her chin, wearing a shapeless white dress. Really, more of a robe.
Been waiting for you. Thanks for coming.
She speaks in a stage whisper, low and full of air, but still loud enough to hear across the path. You pick your way carefully across the spiral, making sure not to mess any of it up, treading only inside the lines. The girl gives you a small, secretive smile.
My name's Boldir.
You ask if this is her garden. Does she live here? It's nice, but it's not exactly out of the elements. Actually, it looks like there's some storm clouds rolling in. You're probably going to get rain soon.
Oh yeah, my Koopa-kun is over there under that tree.
She smiles again, and you can't tell if she's messing around. In fact, she is entirely unreadable. Like her face is a totally reflective surface, and all you're seeing is the cloudy sky and the garden. You can't tell how she feels about you at all.
Would you like to sit down?
Inside the circle, or... She looks around like she is only just realizing she's at the center of a complicated geometric pattern.
It doesn't matter. I only wanted to see if you would follow the path or trample through it. But you didn't either. You forged your own way while taking care to preserve that which has come before.
You ask her what that means.
Maybe nothing. I'm not sure.
The wind tosses her hair in the and the clouds chase each other across the sky. If the rain comes, it will come soon. Boldir continues to look at you as you shift awkwardly and shiver, pushing your hands into your hoodie. This is different than any other friend meetup you've had, even with the others who purposefully sought you out. There is a serenity to Boldir that all the rest lack, or maybe it's just this zen as fuck garden getting to you. You try to remember what Boldir said to you in the message that she somehow managed to make appear on your phone and then immediately self-immolate. That she has some information for you about your place on Alternia, or some shit like that.
Did I say that? I guess I did. I suppose I wanted a chance to talk to you a bit before the end. I was starting to feel a little, jealous maybe?
Right. You guess everybody has been going on about the funny, dumb alien robot who's been prowling the countryside.
No, that's not it. Though I'm sure you're very funny. I just wanted a chance to talk to you. Someone who is adrift in the swell of fate and the whims of the paradox.
Paradox? You don't know anything about paradoxes. Well, you know what they are. You just don't see why they're relevant.
They aren't. Paradoxes aren't relevant by their very nature. It's the essence of that nature that makes them so integral to this story.
You shake your head. You're not built for this cosmic stuff. You're just an orphan from Earth with quick fingers, for spaceships and apparently vehicles. Boldir gives you another sly smile.
Oh, quick fingers?
You blush. You hadn't meant that as a dirty joke or anything. Also, your fingers are nowhere near as quick as hers. She somehow got a piece of paper in your pocket while you were standing in a cafe and she was back here. That's like reverse pickpocketing through astral projection. Boldir laughs. She stands up and moves across the garden path, following the spiral so swiftly and efficiently that she might as well be floating. She drifts over to one of the trees, pulling a coat down from where it's slung over a branch. It covers her from chin to ankles, coming together to form an olive green symbol on her chest that looks like a question mark without the dot. A broad-brimmed hat finishes out the ensemble.
Well, I
press
can't...
H.
Huh?
You can press H, you can actually...
Ah.
Yeah, that's what it looks
The
like.
Riddler. Well, I can't teach you astral projection, but pickpocketing is actually quite simple. Would you care to learn? Ideally, we need a third person to act as the mark, but I think we can make it work.
More crime, huh?
Yo. Okay, hopefully switching to Opera while it's running isn't going to cause OBS to crash.
I suppose we're about to find out, aren't we?
You know what's funny is I did like recently try to dust out my computer, taking the video card out, actually do this things like that. So hopefully things were running better, but it didn't seem to fix any of my problems.
Weird.
OBS still started crashing sometimes, or freezing up my video card drivers when OBS starts. I have this feeling that I really need to get away from this i5 or 8th gen i5 that was technically a weird hand-me-down second.
True.
But also that costs money that you can donate to contribute to the Balan Wonderworld stream. Do you really want to watch me play a furry vor game? It sounds like y'all want to watch me play a furry vor game.
Y'all should, whether you're doing it for that Balan Wonderland game or not, donate to that there Froggin' Man.
Oh, right. Do crimes, sure. Doing crime.
Red Mage Lala got really passionate about doing crime.
Mm-hmm.
This whole mess started with a theft of a spaceship, and if Boulder is right about all that Fate Force shit, that was supposed to happen. So maybe you'll lean into it.
Perfect. The first and most important aspect of the art of pickpocketing is staying unobtrusive.
You think about mentioning that walking around in a great big coat and floppy hat is not the most unobtrusive thing you've ever seen, but you aren't the expert here. Also, you're an alien, so you don't really have room to talk. Maybe you should get a big coat like that yourself. You just love ripping looks off all your friends. Boulder takes you through the basics of criminal sleight of hand, and on the whole, you aren't too bad. In fact, you think you might have a future in it if you weren't already on the career path of professional friendshipper. You don't know what this has to do with her learning about you or teaching you your place in Alternia, but it's fun, and Boulder is a good teacher. If there's one thing this journey has taught you, it's that when something isn't actively painful or destructive, just write it out. You don't think you'll be going around pickpocketing many trolls. Enough of them already want to kill you, but it's good to have this skill in reserve if you ever need cash fast and don't feel like hitting up any of your rich friends. You wonder if Boulder uses it for anything besides passing notes.
Psst. My sources tell me that you've been on Alternia for almost 3 perigrees now.
You have no idea how long a perigee is, but what the hell, sure.
Impressive. No wonder.
She trails off thoughtfully and shakes her head. You wish she would say something with some substance to it instead of just vague nonsense.
Thank you for the $20, Shadowski.
But at least she isn't threatening you with violence or trying to stick wires into you. So you're counting this interaction successful so far. Also, you feel weirdly chilled out with Boulder. Sure, you want to be friends, but there's none of that stomach-churning, spine-bending desperation to make sure she likes you at whatever the cost. You feel more awake than you have in weeks. Man, you've got to learn to pickpocket in a garden behind a cafe more often if this is what it does to your stress levels.
Want to get something to eat? Or maybe just coffee, because that's what they serve here.
Sure, you could use another caffeinated beverage on top of the other caffeinated beverage you had earlier. Why not? You'll sleep when you're dead.
If only.
You follow her out of the garden and back into the cafe.
Who is this now? Yet another friend?
Oh, Ardata, you're still here.
Of course I am, fool. You were back there for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Wow, it felt way longer than that. Guess you underestimated the power of a good training montage. You introduce Ardota to Boldir with the cheerful earnestness of someone who has forgotten the systemic classism of the planet on which they currently reside. Ardota stops you with an aristocratic sneer.
Stop. Stop before I have to stop you myself. I have absolutely no desire to mix with those so low on the social ladder. What in the world could she have to offer me?
You shrug. You're not sure. Maybe friendship? You know, friendships between people of different castes are possible. You've seen them happen. Regardless, you feel bad for exposing your newest friend to the vaguely nonsensical abuses of your oldest. You turn back to Boldir to apologize and find her gazing coolly at Ardon like she could do it all night. But there's none of the fear or reverence or false obedience you've seen of other lowbloods display to blues. Instead, Boldir looks at Ardota like she's a bug. Worse, a pebble that she would just love to kick out of the way.
Psst. Nice to meet you in person, Miss Carmilla. I heard your GrubTube channel has been losing subscribers recently. I wonder why that is.
Blue hits Ardota's cheeks in an angry flush.
I'm currently on hiatus. The old garbage was getting tired. I have so many imitators that my own content is starting to seem derivative.
She gives one of her maniacal laughs, but it's a little less robust than usual. Man, the wild tundra of internet fame really is a stark and arid battleground.
In fact, I have a new feature in the works as we speak.
She holds up a little vial she'd been haggling with the cash register over earlier.
Poison. I think the best and most expedient process would just be to dose my featured guest's food and then hide the antidote somewhere in my hive. Unless you have another idea.
She smiles, sly indeed. Boldir smiles back, just as vicious.
Great. Have fun with that.
While Boldir talks, her eyes start flicking from you to Ardota and then down. Again and again. You, Ardota, and down. It takes a couple of go-arounds before you realize what she is telling you. She keeps looking down to your hands, which are stuck in your hoodie pocket, exactly where you found the note Boldir slipped you. Ardota is carrying a bag that looks expensive and extremely goth, but you can see where the vial of poison is sticking out. Oh man, you know what you have to do. When a group comes into the shop and pushes past the three of you, you move in on Ardota and slip a hand into her bag, palming the smooth, cold vial. She gives you a weird look, like, why are you suddenly all up on me, peon? But she doesn't notice the theft.
I suppose I'll be going now. And if I were you, I'd be more mindful of who I choose to associate myself with in the future.
You say bye to her, feeling the teeniest bit guilty, but she's planning to use this poison to do murder theater in her prison basement, so you don't feel that bad.
Take care now.
Ardota leaves and Boldir takes an inquisitive step closer.
Psst. Show me.
You open your hand to display the spoils, flushed with criminal euphoria. Oh hell no. You grabbed the wrong fucking vial. This one is blue, not red. You grabbed the antidote, not the poison. God, you honestly thought you were moving past these kinds of cock-ups.
Oh. Damn. Well, at least you have the antidote now. You never know when one of those might come in handy.
She sways forward and clutches at her neck. For one confused second, you think she's doing an impression of someone who might need an antidote. Then she falls to her knees. You dart around and catch her, or dart forward and catch her before she can totally eat it. She's heavier than she looks. Compact muscle and a coat full of an ungodly number of weapons. She has like 4 guns in here. What the hell? Your arms are full, so you can only watch helpless as a troll in a hood that covers their face and their horns books it out the door. You shout that some fucker just stabbed your friend, but nobody here is looking at you. It's the same way people on Earth might ignore a mother trying to calm a toddler throwing a tantrum, just turning their eyes away from a distasteful public scene.
Oh. Damn it.
You put a hand up to Boldir's neck to try to staunch the bleeding, but there isn't any bleeding. Bewildered, you pull apart the lapels of her coat to see a single drop of olive blood trembling above her collarbone. Discoloration spreads in a dark spill over her neck and radiating down her chest. You both say it at the same time.
Poison.
You open your hand to look at the tiny blue vial, then back to Boulder. Her eyes are glassy, her skin is going blotchy and ashen. There's no reason to believe that Ardot is poison and the poison the assassin used are the same, with the same antidote. It already strains the powers of coincidence that you grabbed the antidote at all.
You're probably right, but maybe you should try it anyway. Can't feel my legs.
Right. Maybe the mere fact that this is such an unlikely happenstance means it will be the right antidote. Everything you've done so far has had the pull of inevitability to it, especially all of your interactions with Boulder.
Great. Awesome. I'm glad you're realizing your inherent significance to this particular microcosm of causation. Now, could you please pour that stuff in my mouth so I can swallow it and possibly not die?
You help Boulder tip her head back and put the vial to her lips. At the last minute, you wonder if it's supposed to be diluted, but Boulder gulps the whole thing down and immediately begins to shake. Smoke billows out of her nostrils and open mouth, and holy shit, what is going on? This doesn't seem like any type of antidote to you. But then the smoke clears and Boulder opens up her big yellow eyes. How does she feel?
Alive? Marginally?
She lets you help her to her feet. You immediately pull her into a fierce yet gentle hug. It's wild to undergo someone else's near-death experience. You feel like you know her way better than one montage scene's worth. Another new friend.
Oof, not so tight.
You ease up a little. All the tea sippers are staring at you now. Death apparently isn't interesting, but the possibility of some quadrant-adjacent stuff they are definitely suddenly all about. Sorry, assholes. Just your new friend sharing a touching post-near-fatal encounter. Nothing to see here.
Didn't die. Yay.
Hooray.
Wow. It all wins. Yeah, we one-shotted it. Also, I should have said hello to Freedom and hello to Sean. He was here earlier, I think right before everything kind of fucked up.
Everything fucking
Everything fucked.
Itself.
But hey, at least we can just do this and then go for the bad endings.
Yep, now we just do the bad endings. I don't think the bad endings are particularly slow.
Backyards are...
Or long, rather.
Backyards are as bad as basements, no way.
Okay, listen. You've done some pretty dumb stuff since you crash landed here. For instance, following the woman standing in front of you into her basement. But not this time. Nice try, Catfisher.
Important correspondence.
Important correspondence? Nah, you crumble the page up in your hand. Nothing that can't wait.
Good. Impeccable timing. Just what I was hoping you would say.
Oh. Friend blocked. Damn, that's a lot of shit.
It is. You became the bag carrier.
No more
crime movies. You've already got a hell of a rap sheet. Maybe it would be best to not add any new skills that would lead you to temptation.
Fair enough. Would you care to go for a stroll? It's a nice night.
It's a windy, unsettled night, and it looks like rain. You suppose that's nice, depending on your definition. You'd absolutely love to take a stroll. That's your whole vibe recently. Strolling. You follow her out through a little back gate and into the street. You leave the cafe behind and are quickly consumed by the drift of the midnight crowd. You brace for the inevitable pitying, hostile looks you get whenever you go out in public. You should have mentioned that you try to avoid large groups, but strangely, no one even glances at you. It's like Boulder exudes a sneaky aura that encompasses the both of you. As you walk, you ask her if she really believes in fate, like the two of you were always going to meet and nothing could have happened any differently no matter what you did. Boulder gives you a thoughtful sidelong glance.
Well, that would imply that none of our choices matter, and that causality is inevitable. That randomness is irrelevant, right?
Sure. You scamper to keep up with her, both physically and mentally. For someone who asked you to take a stroll, she sure is booking it down the street.
But that disregards our choices. Fate dictates that all possibilities are, by their very nature, necessities. Or rather, the choice you made was the only one you ever could make. I doubt the universe is that simple.
It doesn't sound simple to you, but you hum and nod sagely because you want Boulder to think you're deep.
Instead of asking yourself whether we are meant to meet and meant to be here, it makes more sense to wonder what forces are that have conspired to bring it into being.
Well, that would be exhaustion and ineptitude. You don't exactly remember what happened, but you're sure it involved something stupid like falling asleep at the wheel and drifting off into another solar system. It had been a rough 48 hours, you know? A lot of escaping and running and punching and stealing of high-powered vehicles.
Yes, of course. I understand. All in a day's work.
She stops you at most intersections so she can take surreptitious glances around the corner before gesturing you forward. Every so often, she will turn the two of you around to double back. You aren't exactly sure why. Maybe she thinks you're being followed, but who would follow you from a cafe?
All sorts. But don't worry. I know how to shake off a tail.
You cross one of the main thoroughfares, and a big black bird swoops at your heads. You yelp and duck, but when you look around, you see that the bird has landed on Boulder's arm, and she's stroking its back. You brace yourself for it to start talking or some shit like that, because that's what your life is like now, but it just sticks its leg out for Boulder to remove a scrap of paper. It waits patiently for her to read the message, and then scribbles something on the back before attaching it to the crow and throwing it back into the air. Oh, man, that's some Harry Potter-ass shit.
One of my informants wants a rendezvous in meat space. Unusual, but it has been an unusual day.
Unusual couple of months, honestly.
Yes, of course. You've had it much harder than I have. What was I thinking?
Well, you weren't trying to get into a contest of whose life sucks more, but yeah, it's been rough. You appreciate that she can see that.
Of all the planets to be forced to, Alternia is, well, not ideal. Not the worst, but you have my sympathies. Is there anything at all you'd like about it?
What, about Alternia? Well, you're kind of digging this whole night as day thing. You're from a diurnal species, but you've always been a bit of a night owl. Also, not to brag, but you've made some seriously cool friends.
Yes, I've been following your exploits. Your friendship acquisition procedures are really quite impressive.
Aw, now you're blushing. You ask Boulder how she knows that much about your exploits, because it's only pretty recently that you've had any sort of real social media presence. You suppose she could have a Gorgle alert like Malik did, but...
Quick, around here.
Boulder leads you into a deserted lot between two buildings. There's nothing here except some broken bottles and a pile of old rubber tires. She leaves you behind the tire pile to keep watch, although she is probably just doing it to get you out of the way. Which, fair. Then she heads out into the center of the lot, presumably to wait for her contact. You sit there, twiddling your thumbs, trying to suppress the desire to pull out your phone. That doesn't seem very covert ops. You're just starting to get really antsy, jittering your leg and cracking your knuckles and digging a little hole in the dirt with a stick when you hear something strange beneath the wind. A swish, followed by a thunk. Boulder jerks and clutches her neck. You writhe up from your rubber pile, sending tires flying. You look wildly up at the surrounding buildings, trying to find out where the projectile came from. You don't see anyone, not even a lone gunman. You run for your new friend, not spending a thought for your own safety. The clouds move overhead like someone has put them on fast forward, the wind rattling the trash on the pavement. By the time you reach Boulder, she's begun to twitch in hard spasms. One look at the blotchy stain spreading across her neck, and there's no doubt. You both say it at the same time.
Poison.
You fall to your knees beside her. Oh God, what are you supposed to do? You don't know anything about poison or first aid or anything else useful. God, why are you such a fucking waste of space? You could have just been gaining some life skills instead of just loafing around like a complete idiot. You...
Stop. Don't. There isn't time. This stuff acts fast.
Boulder takes hard, gasping breaths between each word. Her eyes are going cloudy. She makes a desperate grab for your hands.
Listen.
For the first time, her voice rises above a whisper. Her grip is surprisingly strong. You tell her to save her strength, but she shakes her head so hard, her hat falls off.
I'm not important.
You tell her to stop being dramatic. Of course she's important.
I'm not being dramatic. Well, maybe a little because I'm dying. But still, remember what I said about fate.
Fuck fate. You don't want anything to do with it if this is the kind of shit it's going to pull on you. So many of your friends have died because of you, because of your incredible inability to... The world twists and stutters. Your guts are a record, and that record is skipping. For a moment, you're sure that whoever that poison-shooting bastard is has shot you too, but then your vision clears and you feel the rain on the back of your neck, the world rolling back to you in waves of color and sound. The dark sky splits open on a fault line of lightning. Boulder's hand goes limp in your own. With shaking fingers, you reach out to touch her motionless cheek. Fuck. Fuck. Not again. Why? An uncontrollable wave of despair washes over you as you look down at the corpse of this girl you barely know. Where are all these feelings coming from? There's honestly way too many of them. Why are they... So that was very blatant. Again. Must I do everything myself?
Oh. We're starting to get to it.
Oh yeah. I've got to hammer out another slightly posh accent for him to make it different, but all right, here goes Stelsa.
Okay, so it turns out stealing a car was easily one of your better impulse decisions. You've gotten accustomed enough to its weird insides by now that the squishiness doesn't much faze you anymore. It still feels like a warm stomach of some kind of giant creature, but you actually find it kind of comforting. You can let yourself get enveloped by the seat while the autopilot does its thing. You ferry through the streets of Alternia with your feet up on the dash, your beats endlessly pounding the pavement. Sometimes you even throw a Sarava stream on your phone if you really want to get your chill vibe going. You're surprised that you haven't been caught yet, dastardly carjacker that you are, but maybe you're just a better thief than you always thought. A possible career change to look down into when, if you ever get back to Earth. The downside of it is that it's a little difficult for you to further your own goal of gathering even more friendship from the inside of a vehicle. So you'd park the scuttle buggy and expose yourself to the menaces of the outside world once more. You're in what looks like some sort of residential neighborhood. It isn't as nice as the blue blood neighborhoods you've seen, but it's still nice enough for the most of the apartment complexes to have imposing locked front gates and security drones. But of course, you can't take a leisurely stroll on Alternia without something terrible happening. You aren't out here for very long before it starts raining. Shit, damn, and fuck. What? I'll like... you ditched the umbrella Torona had given you since it was as heavy as a goddamn club, and now you're super regretting it. Running for shelter is all you can do, so you make a mad dash for one of the building's awnings, huddling uncomfortably underneath it. The rain doesn't let up, and you'll have to move soon. The security drones are beginning to look like they're planning on taking a few shots at you for loitering. You need to make a decision, and fast!
Woo.
Wow.
Make a decision. It's acid rain.
Make it... No, not her. Boom. Let me see what y'all been laughing at, because I just hear you making that little sound every now and then. Fallout, tripwire trap. I know my model was jerking. I think part of that was the distance and me getting really close to the mic and ducking down. And then every now and then the iPhone would just go, no, we can't see your face.
Me making a sound? What did I make? What?
No, I thought I kept on hearing like a cough or like something.
Oh, I was coughing.
I
was trying to keep it quiet.
I thought it was one of those like you're trying to suppress a laugh type of cough. Motherfuckers better not tie it. Okay, good. Number 2, try to get into one of the buildings. There's no way you're getting into any of these without a passcode. But wait! You think you see someone coming your way. Perhaps they'll be your knight in shining armor.
So what you're telling me is that my appointment is canceled?
You're still some distance away, and she's looking right at you. You point at yourself questionably, thinking she might be talking to you, but then you realize she's wearing a Bluetooth headset.
Jeremy used to be in the ball, or so on the ball. Remember the time he gave me a full-pronged beautifying procedure right after that high blood ripped his arm off? But now he can't bounce back from one little thresher in the abdominal sausage. What happened? That boy is losing his touch.
Looks like she's coming back from a jog, if the running shorts are anything to go by. If she's at all bothered by the acid glancing off her skin, sending dozens of little firecrackering sparks in their wake, she isn't showing it. She seems more preoccupied by the harried conversations she's having on the phone. Most importantly, she's power walking to the entrance of this building, which must mean she lives here. This is your chance. You shuffle along under the awning, pressing yourself close to the side of the building, bug-like. You sort of wish she encountered you earlier when you were dodging rain like a rad action hero. Now you just look sort of cowardly and pathetic. Especially compared to her, she's striding along like absolutely nothing is going to get in the way of whatever business she's got going on, let alone a few paltry explosions. Actually, she's so focused on a call right now that she doesn't even notice you until you're standing right next to her.
Such inconvenience. You can fully expect that I will be taking my business elsewhere from now on. Oh my, what do we have here?
She transitions from hanging up the call to talking to you so quickly that it makes your head spin.
Take this down. Strange little hornless creature parked in front of my home, very puny and scared looking. Can only be the alien everyone has been talking about. Such an opportunity can't go to waste, now can it?
See, you're confused again, looking around to see who she might be talking to, but there's nobody else here. Maybe she's dictating notes to her phone?
Look at you. We can't have you wandering around outside like this, darling, can we? Aren't you ravishing? Do give me the name of your stylist. So good to meet you. Here's my card. The name Stelsa says yet. Auto-terrorizer in training for the Altenian Empire. Nice to meet you. Let's walk and talk.
You didn't realize that the borrowed hoodie was that impressive of a look, but okay. She produces a business card with one hand and puts some number into a panel with the other. You take the card. It's a struggle to process what she's saying. Respond to her questions and introduce yourself, all while experiencing the verbal equivalent of getting hit by a truck. How is it possible to talk so fast without taking a breath? You can barely get a word in edgewise. Stelsa continues chattering away as she steps inside and waits for you to follow her into the apartment building's elevator. You do.
So tell me, do you run any business on your planet? If you do, I'd be more than happy to offer my services. They're very efficient and affordable, I can assure you. All your legal and financial documents will be tracked over in no time. I'll make sure everything is running at tip-top shape. I'm so happy to have run into you. Ever since Zizi told me she met you, I've been asking her to introduce me. So it's very important for a professional to continue growing a network, especially intergalactically. Don't you agree?
She's still busying herself with her phone while talking to you, texting on his tiny keyboard now. The name ZZ doesn't ring any bells. You flip through your Rolodex in your brain, trying to remember. Have you really made so many friends that you begin to forget their names? You're a little impressed with yourself. It feels like only yesterday that you were crawling around in the basement of a murderess and getting stabbed in the shin with a screwdriver. Just a single friend to your name. Good times. You've come so far then. It brings a single sentimental tear to your eye.
Since then?
Hmm?
Since then?
Since then, eh. Wait. Stelsa's own name finally starts to register. You heard it before. This is Tizius, mate Sprit. She must be talking about Tizius.
Murderous is stabbing. Very fascinating stuff, I'm sure. Yes, I'm referring to my darling Tizius, of course.
You're at the door to our hive. She unlocks it, letting you both in.
Come in. Welcome to Shay Says Yet. Make yourself at home. Can I get you anything? Water, grub cake, my rate sheet? I would love to continue our chat while I'm a little less sweaty. Also, acid wreaks absolute havoc on the skin. You know how it is. I'll just jump into the evolution trap for a minute. Please excuse me. Won't be long. Back in 2 shakes of a quack beast's gastric evacuation pillow.
Actually, you wouldn't know how it is, considering that a bucket load of acid following you would leave you either very injured or very dead, and she's already gone. You're a little relieved. It's not that Stelsa isn't friendly. She's plenty friendly. She just approaches friendship in a way that makes you feel like a little like a line on her to-do list, and that she's in a hurry to check off. Or, well, she seems like she wants you as some sort of work contact, not as a friend. But that's okay. You've worn many hats in pursuit of friendship. Clown cultist, impromptu shoes popper, murder accomplice, business associate. It's one of the tamer ones on that list. Now that you no longer have to keep up with her mile-a-minute conversation, you can take a proper look around her hive. You're not sure what's more perturbing, the sheer amount of pink that's accosting your eyeballs, or the fact that everything is so painstakingly organized that it makes you a little uncomfortable. It's like you're merely standing here is disrupting the careful order of the room. Her shelves are crammed full of books, all neatly arranged according to topic, with each topic displayed on a little label on each shelf. She also has a lot of posters featuring motivational slogans underneath the striking nature photography. The only normal looking spot in the hive is a coffee table with a mishmash of personal belongings piled on top of it. Books, papers, a jacket. You think that it might be a mug? None of these items strike you as being particularly Stelsa's style. The overall effect is that of a very pink, very neat office cubicle. You almost feel like you should start chugging mediocre coffee and complaining about how much you hate Mondays.
So sorry to have kept you waiting.
Stelsa reemerges, her hair wrapped in a towel.
Well, it's been a blast getting to know you. We should get lunch sometime. Keep the conversation going. I'll pencil you in, darling. But for now, I have a bit of a dilemma to deal with.
That sounds worrying, like a dismissal. You sneak a glance at the schedule on a bulletin board. It's a blaze of color with barely any free slots. You don't want to be penciled in. You have no idea when she might be available next. And you need her sweet, sweet friendship now. Maybe whatever problem she has is something that you could help with?
Unless you're a ludicrously talented beautician, I think not. My usual place bumped me off their list, and right before a very important meeting, too. A girl has to look her best for these things to really knock their socks off. If I want to make an arrangement or make arrangements at another salon, I shall have to move fast, no time to waste.
All right, poll time. Okay, so you know what doesn't help? Is that on Monday night I watched 8 Crazy Nights, so
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't help that I'm doing this accent. I sound like Adam Sandler right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm doing my best here, all right?
All right, let's see. She's trolled you.
No, she really is. That was on her information card.
Damn.
Troll Jewish. And then they replaced it with something else.
Mm-hmm. I'm just having to scroll through all of chat because you get the ability to scroll through it while I'm talking.
Mm-hmm. A little bit sometimes here and there.
Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, hey, we're doing number 2. Who needs a beautician when you're around? You have absolutely no professional beauty experience, but Savrava did give you that crash course in crafting great looks. So, Stelsa is probably after a vibe that's a little or less moisture wave, but you're sure you can whip something up. You tell her that you'll help her get ready instead, right here in her hive.
Oh, how nice of you! I've never had a house call before. Let's do this.
She leads you into the next room, rubbing her hair dry as she goes. There's a Coopercoon in one corner and a vanity in the other, with an array of poofs. Yeah, poofs.
Yeah, I think that
brushes and other mysterious implements spread out on its surface. Some of them are disturbingly pointy. Oh well, you're sure you'll be able to figure it out, what they're all for once you start using them. Celsa takes a seat in a chair in front of her vanity, folding her hands primly in her lap. Primly.
So, darling, what do you think we should do? What do you think? What should we do first? It's all up to you.
Not this again. Why are you always making all the decisions around here? What you wouldn't give to be able to foist your own life choices off of random people you've just met. It would be refreshing. Oh.
Another choice.
Damn. Okay, cool. Hey.
We're getting okay. Served hot choices on a silver platter here. Silver platter of friendship.
All right. Horns of hair.
All right, Freezy, really, you're playing it up too much. Not that anyone cares, but like, come on, man.
You're an adult. You're an adult, Freezy.
Exactly, you're an adult. You're being more melodramatic than Mexican soap operas. If this is legitimately how he feels, he needs therapy. And I am not a therapist.
Nope. VTubers are not your therapists. I'm sorry. Take your meds.
Okay, you stop right there, Ticonderoga. Well done is the only way I eat anything. It must be fully cooked.
Damn, now we have even worse takes. Jesus. Why the hell am I actually glitching out as much?
Listen, I don't want anything in my steaks or my food in general that shouldn't be there. Must be fully cooked.
Alright, I guess we're polishing her horns. You picked up a velvety piece of cloth and bring it up to Stelsa's hand. There's only one thing this can be for, right? Head. Be only favor, right?
Wait, what are you going to do with that?
Polish her horns an impressive sheen, of course. They'll be positively gleaming by the time you're done with them. She grabs your wrist with one hand before you can do so. She's deceptively strong, holding you in such an ironclad grip that you can't move your arm at all. You've been low-key admiring her toned arms earlier, but now you know for sure that the rack of hot pink dumbbells in the living room aren't just for show. Instead of looking pleased with your purpose to do, she looks uneasy, possibly even a little embarrassed.
Polish my...
You barely get a glimpse of her discomfited expression before she's gracing you with another friendly smile, albeit a bit of a strained one.
You know, I think I'm having second thoughts. It's reasonable to expect that an alien like you wouldn't know the first thing about troll grooming habits. My mistake. I should have accounted for such cultural differences. but it's quite all right. I shall figure something else out.
Is it just you, or was there a pointed pause before cultural differences? She's getting up again. Wait, what's happening? You thought the two of you were going to bond over your sweet makeout session, but she's makeover. No. Damn it!
Oh! Careful, Xaver. She's taken.
Oh well. A sweet makeover session, but she's pushing you back into the main area of our hive, pretty forcefully too.
Thank you for offering your help, dear. So very kind of you, but I'll manage. Great to meet you, just wonderful. Call me, take care, have a nice life. Toodles, goodbye.
She shoots you another lovely yet clearly fake smile and shoves you out the door. You'll have to wait out the rain just fine in this hallway, but being sprawled on your ass on Stelz's welcome mat all by your lonesome just isn't the same as hanging out with a new friend. Dude's got into personal shit live and stream before no one see. Oh no. Oh, game over. Oh well. Okay. You know what? We'll do the first fake ending or bad ending. What? Don't hit me. Alright. Run back to the scuttle buggy. It's parked a ways away down the street, but if you run fast enough, you might be able to make it. You abandon the security of the metal awning, launching yourself into the back of the minor apocalypse that is regular alternating weather. You should have been able to guess how this was going to go. The raindrops are too dense for you to successfully dodge them all, and your delicate human body isn't built to withstand nuclear-ass rain. You probably would have better luck with the security drones. Dude, shit! Oh,
well, that didn't work.
Okay. I guess we're dead. Wait, I hit the wrong button.
You hit the scuttle buggy.
It's fine. Wait.
What?
Now I'm in the
wrong one.
A series of unfortunate events. Okay, where's the main menu again? There we go. Start. All right, you blah friendship.
Blah.
All right, get into one of the buildings. You know what? Let's continue with beauty.
Again and try the other option.
Okay, ba. All right, I guess we're styling the hair.
Yeah.
The first order of business should be drying Stelz's hair. You pick up a funnel-shaped doohickey that looks like it might be a hairdryer, fumble around for a button. There isn't one, but you manage to turn it on by giving it a good squeeze. The mouth of the funnel opens wide, emitting a hot blast of air along with a hoarse animal yell. You think it might actually see teeth inside? Just don't think about it too much. That's the best you can do when it comes to literally any Alternian gadget. Thankfully, the noise soon fades to a low hum.
Here, use this.
Stelza passes you a piece of thorny bramble. It looks painful, but when you begin brushing Stelza's hair, she sighs happily.
Interesting being in this position for once. When Tizius is over, I usually am the one doing this.
You try to imagine Tizius letting someone give her a sweet do. Even when it's her girlfriend in question, you have a hard time picturing it. Stelza laughs. She is a surprisingly pretty musical laugh. Surprisingly pretty.
No. My dear Zizi isn't one for involved beauty rituals. She usually doesn't let me do more than just brush it, but it's still relaxing.
Sliding the brush through Stelza's hair is pretty relaxing. You allow yourself to zen out for a moment before shaking yourself out of it, casting around for something to talk about. That's what good hairdressers do, right? Strike up casual conversation? Your eyes fall on an open book sitting on the table. It's the only object there that doesn't have anything to do with hair care or beauty, so it stands out like a sore thumb. Just like the items on the coffee table, it's strewn too haphazardly to look like it belongs to Stelza. You think you've seen some on the some of the tabs Tizius was using on the notes for a group project, and if you look closer, You'd think you'd catch the words revolt and history in the page header. Right, as Tizia's mates spread, Stelsis probably has big plans for dismantling the system from the inside too, after she becomes an auditor. You remark that you think it's really cool what she and Tizius are doing. It might be scary to stick it to the man like that, but someone has to do it. Okay, it's not exactly like conversation, but talking to Tizius about this have been so enlightening, if sad, and you really bonded over it. Maybe you'd be able to bond with Stelsa the same way? But Stelsa only looks confused. Then her eyes flick down to the book for a second before she reaches out, smartly snaps it shut, and squirrels it away in one of the drawers. The sound of the drawer slamming makes you jump, and you narrowly avoid pulling Stelsa's hair.
I'm quite sure I don't know what you're talking about. I am not sticking anything anywhere. Definitely not to any man, and neither is Tizius.
She's sitting straight and tense in the chair now, her voice soaring to a high, bordering on hysterical pitch. Oh no, she probably doesn't know that you're on their side. Tizius might not have told her about your conversation. It's okay, you're not going to tell anyone. You're sworn to secrecy. But Stelsa averts her eyes, a stubborn set to her chin.
Again, I have no idea why you're talking about, not a single clue.
What you're talking about, sorry.
Tizius and myself are both law-abiding subjects of the Empire. We don't dabble in such foolish things as sympathizing with rebels. What would that possibly accomplish?
She wrings her hands distractedly.
We do things the way we do on Alternia for a reason, darling. Without any hemispectrum and the roles we each need to play, why, the world would be plunged into complete chaos. Can you even imagine? Trolls running around, not knowing which way is up, doing whatever they please, no one to tell them what their place in the world is.
She goes from hand-wringing to gesticulating wildly, almost knocking a row of jars off the table, positively frantic to the prospect of societal breakdown.
It's better for everyone this way. I truly believe that.
You're beginning to realize that you just might have put your foot in your mouth. Just a little bit. Stuffed a toe or two in that gob of yours, maybe. She sounds way too earnest for this to be a cover-up. Could it be possible that Stelsa really does side with what had Tizius called her? The Condesses? And she doesn't know about Tizius' underground research after all? But the book was right there. You're so confused. Talking about this is clearly distressing Stelsa, though, so you drop it, focusing on finishing up her hair instead. It's pretty soft now that it's dry. You're not sure you've styled it correctly, but she seems pleased.
Great work. Nice. Fantastic. You did an excellent job.
You glow at the praise. You say thanks, but she's always passing you a bottle of nail polish. She really wants you to go all the way, huh? You twist it open and get to work. You're too focused on not smidging the teal color over the stately points of her claws to talk, but Stelsa breaks the silence.
I have a question for you.
You nod, sticking your tongue out in concentration.
So, I have this acquaintance.
This is the most tentative you've heard her in so far. You weren't sure her vocal cords were capable of it.
They're in a quadrant with someone who harbors views most would consider subversive, if not outright treasonous.
She's obviously talking about herself and Tizius, but you don't want to point that out in case she gets upset again, so you just nod along thoughtfully.
She didn't always... The mate split, I mean. It will blow over at some point. She must be going through a difficult phase. But in the meantime, she could get into oh so much trouble.
Stelsa's lower lip wobbles like she's about to cry. You chew on the inside of your cheek, trying to figure out what to say. Talking to Tizius very much did not leave you with the impression that it was a phase. She sounded pretty serious. Does Stelsa's friend have any idea that this is going on? She looks at the drawer, and so do you.
Nope.
You resist the urge to massage your temples. No idea at all?
Absolutely not.
Alright, okay, you can do this. A good first step might be for her friend to face up to the issue. You know, if there's a chance they have the tiniest inkling about what might be happening, so the two of them can talk about it.
talk about it.
Yeah, you're no expert on no expert, but open discussion probably helps with relationship problems quite a bit. Plus, you ruminate to yourself. The more that you think about it, the less it seems that Tisius leaving her controversial book out like that was an accident. It was right in front of Stelsa's chair, after all. Maybe Tisius wanted Stelsa to see it? You slicked the last bit of color onto Stelsa's pinky claw a while ago, but you're both too wrapped up in the conversation to suggest that you move on to something else. She lets the polish dry while the two of you continue to talk.
But my friend does not agree with her mate Sprit's sentiments. Discussing it would just cause unnecessary friction, wouldn't it?
Maybe, but even so, addressing the issue is probably better than pretending it it isn't there. Besides, quadrant mates can coexist regardless of differing beliefs, right? Yeah, you don't sound convincing even to yourself, but the platitudes seem to comfort Stelsa somewhat.
Maybe you're right.
Carefully, mindful of her just dried nails, she wipes away a few tears, much to your horror. Was that the wrong thing to say? But then you notice that she's smiling.
I've not spoken about that to anyone before now. Telling you about it was truly a load off my bellow-sac cavity. I am certain my friend will be grateful as well. I shall relay your advice accordingly as soon as I can.
You smile back at her weakly. You haven't been able to relate to very much when it comes to alternative life, but boy, can you relate to relationship drama, and trolls seem to have plenty of it. You hope everything turns out alright for her friend. Since her voice is all sniffly and her eyelash is still wet, you retrieve a frilly box of hand tissues and hold it out to her, hoping that will help. She pulls out a few and blows her nose onto them with a sad honking noise.
I should finish getting ready.
She seems reluctant to get up, though. You'd probably be the same, knowing you had to head into a serious business meeting after spilling your heart like that. Experiencing emotions is tiring. Eventually, though, Stelsa musters up enough energy to get to her feet. Much to your surprise, instead of immediately rushing off to complete her next pre-meeting task, she pulls you into a tight hug.
Thank you. You're a real friend.
And there it is. Not colleague, not potential client, but that wonderful friendship word. Yay. Hug. Friends forever.
Moira's.
No!
Hello, Spencer. How's it going? We're getting done with this chat or volume, actually. Blah, friendship, blah.
Wait, she's got that one other option we didn't go down.
One of the buildings, and hey, why not use the extra time to do more prep for the meeting?
That is an excellent idea. I visited this potential client's establishment a while ago, but it was a quick one. I could do well to cast my Gandabulbs around the place properly. It's pretty much in the bag, but this meeting is the clincher, and there's no way I can flip it. Having Remeling Namak as a client would be too good of a cluck beast plume in my pan lid for me to chuck the opportunity in the load gaper.
Remeling? You totally know her. How about that?
Yes, I would hope you did, darling. She's only been splashed all over the newspapers lately with that stunt of hers. Buying out a competition like that, I'd never heard the likes of it before.
She's flitting around the hive as she speaks, nipping into what you assume is her bedroom to blow her hair dry before shuffling some papers into her handbag. You tell her the best you can, feeling a bit like a pet cat underfoot who's threatening to trip her at every turn.
Maintaining a career as a successful yet relatively avant-garde artist is very different to assuming ownership of and managing a museum, and yet she has made it work.
Wow. Oh, whoa. It sounds like Remeling has been busy since the last time you saw her. You clarified that Remeling is a friend of yours, actually. Stelsa stops in her tracks.
Really? Why didn't you say so in the first place? You should come with me. Getting the 411 on Remeling from a friend of hers could really give me a frond up. What do you say?
You're not sure there's much you can tell Stelsa about Rimele. You're pretty sure Rimele doesn't want an auditor in training, or, well, anyone really, knowing that she's an art thief. But, why not? There's been some stray info about Rimele knocking around in the old noggin that might come in useful.
Marvelous. Come on, you can tell me on the way.
She takes your hand and pulls you out the door. You offer Stelsa riding your totally not stolen scuttlebuggy. It's still raining, but she shields you both with an umbrella that's almost as big as you are. As you walk to where it's parked, you get in and put some tunes on for the road and head off. Once you're on your way, you admit to Stelsa that most of your and Rimele's conversations just involve her bouncing ideas off of you for her webcomic, but you're still happy to answer any questions she might have about Rimele's overall deal. You're expecting her to be disappointed, but her eyes practically light up.
What a privilege! To be completely truthful, I'm quite the fan. I've been following her webcomic for a while.
She admits this kind of sheepishly. Does she think that liking comics is embarrassing?
Of course not. Okay, maybe a little. It seems irresponsible to spend time on something as flippant as a comic on the internet when I have so much other business to attend to. Lots of irons in the fire over here. Achievements don't achieve themselves, you know.
Maybe, but hobbies and downtime are important too. You never feel more rested than after you've let yourself do absolutely nothing but enjoy a good comic.
What?
She looks at you blankly. You know, rest.
Oh, I always make sure to get enough recuperation every day. No concerns there, to be sure.
What you're talking about is a bit different from getting enough sleep, but you try a different tact. Why is she taking this job with Rimele anyways? Isn't she busy enough with her training?
Well, sure, I have internships with the Alternian government as well, but there can never be enough experience under one's belt.
You're beginning to see what the problem is. You get the feeling that Stelsa might just be a bit of a workaholic. Just vaguely. Has she ever considered... You're so involved with trying to convince Stelsa of the merits of getting her chill on that you don't realize there's anything wrong. Not until Stelsa lets out a screech that almost bursts your eardrums.
Fiddlesticks! We can't go this way! There's road work happening here! The scuttlebuggy must be operating with an outdated map. Switch it to manual and turn it around! Quick, quick!
The roadwork Stelsa is referring to is a bridge with a "Do Not Enter" sign hastily put up. Beyond the sign, this bridge is peppered with enormous holes. Looks like some look big enough for the entire car to fall through easily.
What are you waiting for? Hurry!
Well, there's one small problem. You can't drive.
Oh, fudge nuggets!
Stelsa presses a few buttons, switching the controls to manual. You grab the wheel, turning it wildly, your only goal to make it sure that you don't drive onto the death bridge. You probably should have paid attention to the steep slope curving away from the road. You both yell at the scuttlebuggy and yawns downward at full tilt. Miraculously, it doesn't tip, but it does slam into a power line, sending the two of you lurching forward. If it wasn't for the unnerving lung-like airbags that inflate in front of you, you would have shot out the front window. Anxiously, you ask if Stelsa's okay. Stelsa doesn't seem too concerned about whether she's injured or not. She's making a futile attempt to push the airbags out of the way so she can get out of the car.
There's no way we'll be able to make my meeting on time now. And I look like an absolute mess.
She's right. Her hair, which was gentle, soft tufts before, is sticking up in all directions, and her glasses have been smashed in the collision, even though it doesn't look like that at all in the artwork.
Yeah, they probably didn't relay that.
Yeah.
Why did I think this was a good idea? I should have just walked. Thanks for nothing.
The car might have survived the crash, but if Stelsa's cranky expression is anything to go by, your budding friendship with her wasn't as lucky. Okay, now we have fashion faux pas. Damn.
Damn.
Well,
yeah, that art is correct. Those are broken.
Those are broken as fuck. All right, 1/3 of the way done before I want to get through tonight.
Fair enough.
This
is a dark world. Both because it's night
and because of the brutal struggle for survival among its polyhemocratic inhabitants, many of whom seem to thrive on havoc and carnage. You'd be interested to see the Michelin Guide entry for Alternia. You're convinced that after a day here, Ayn Rand would sign up with the Little Sisters of the Poor, Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun would join the Quakers, and Adolf Hitler would seek membership in the World Peace Council. Phew, Godwin's Law alert. Feeling a little dramatic tonight.
Okay, right. It wasn't this guy, it was the other guy, right?
Yeah, it's a different purple as the other. Well, no, so it's not neither of these.
You care. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be another chapter that's got two of them that I absolutely must showcase myself for. Do you want to do this one, or do you want to do the little clown boy?
I might as well want to do the little clown boy.
All right.
Despite a certain sense of pervading existential gloom that you haven't managed to shake even after communing with the possible oracle/secret agent, you're feeling pretty all right. No more brooding in your cliffside apartment. You have a fresh thirst this evening, a thirst for friendship. You're wandering around the neighborhood you haven't seen in a while, just a few blocks from where you crash landed. Maybe you'll go pay a visit to the crash site of your ship, even though it's long since been stripped for parts by the local population. Or maybe you'll try to find Damon and say hi, although you're pretty sure he's still living the nomadic shrubbery lifestyle. Maybe you're just here for nostalgia. Honestly, Malaise who? You hardly know her. Just then, from across the street, echoed two voices raised an argument. Well, one is soft and murmuring, and one is loud and honking. A rust-blood girl and purple-blood guy squared off in the front of a patch of graffiti that blooms over the bricks like moss. The girl appears to be in a process of scrubbing it away. There's a mop bucket and a collection of sponges next to her.
And I told
let me get this little guy.
Okay.
And I told you this shit is sacred motherfucking iconography.
The purple blood is saying.
So fuck the hell off, little red dumpling.
The rust blood saying something back that makes him laugh. The sacred iconography appears to be a collection of swear words and a couple of colorful renderings of certain sections of troll anatomy that you have not yet had the chance to explore. The girl with the bucket wrings her sponge out and stares at the clown down. Well, you assume she's staring him down. She's wearing a big round goggles to match the bright red rubber gloves pulled all the way up to her elbows. Despite the mop bucket, she looks more like a scientist from a B-grade horror movie than a janitor. The purple blood doesn't have any visible weapons on him, but that doesn't make him look any less dangerous. And unless the girl has a blade in that mop handle, she's totally defenseless. You face this precise scenario more than once, but it doesn't get any easier. No matter how much self-confidence you earn or hardships you endure, life or death friendship decisions don't get any easier. Actually, it's pretty easy for me. All I have to do is run a poll.
Damn. You know, I like giving, aside from little Carico, who you're gonna have an easy time doing.
Yeah.
Real
honk,
easy.
honk, motherfucker. Sounds like honk honk.
No, he's a run.
He's a run.
You'll understand. But aside from him, I generally just kind of really enjoy giving voices to to the clowns. Although you will hear that they all kind of sound similar under me, but that's because they all have these certain vibes, right?
Yeah.
I think like most of the clowns should have
a laid back.
Laid back. I mean, all kinds of different attitudes, but
gravel to the voice for sure. You know, gotta sound
honk honk, motherfucker.
I think whether it's because that's normal for them or because they're all trying to emulate the Grand High Blood, who has
gravelly motherfucking voice.
Yeah.
You know.
And sorry, Torvar, it seems like I can never mind my own business. I need to fucking intervene. Who are you kidding? You are never going to leave her to fend for herself. It's against your religion of reflexively and ceaselessly searching for new buddies. You aren't making excuses for it anymore. You've decided to take what Boldier said to heart and just resign yourself to fate. Well, that isn't exactly what she said, but a lot of it was confusing and spooky. You're half convinced she was just doing it for the mysterious aesthetic. You stride confidently toward the altercation, calling out a challenge to the rogue clown. Nobody messes with those less fortunate while you're on the case. And since it's been resoundingly too long since you've had a truly ironic and hilarious twist of fate befall you, as soon as you step up onto the sidewalk, the purple blood's fist connects with your head, and your head connects with the concrete.
Oof.
Well, and just I guess fucking mind my own goddamn business. Jesus fucking Christ. Listen, you aren't the goddamn alien special forces. You aren't the friendship police. You can't even afford to insert yourself into the middle of every single altercation in hopes that the drunken gamble of destiny will offer up new and greater connections onto your sore, tired ass. You aren't made of goodwill alone. Everyone needs breaks, man. You march casually by, hands behind your back. If you knew how to whistle, you would. Nothing to see here, folks. V smack the ground behind you and the girl runs by, surprisingly spry in the rubber boots. Not spry enough, apparently, because the high blood is hot on her heels. Nope, not helping. Definitely not. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. You already made your choice. You're not getting involved. At the last moments, you stick out one of your famous legs, and the clown goes flying. He hits the pavement hard, nose first. Son of a bitch. There you went and got involved. The high blood might be kissing concrete, but he won't be very long. It's tough to kill a clown. You take this opportunity to GTFO. Damn, you don't know anybody around here. Maybe you can run back to your stolen vehicle before... Hands grab you by the back of the hoodie, hauling you around the corner into the shadows of an alleyway. Shit, the clown must have friends, and those friends must have circled around behind you. You open your mouth to scream, not because you think anyone's going to help you, but just because you might as well. If you can't go out fighting, might as well go out and make as much noise and being as obnoxious as possible. A rubber glove hand slaps over your mouth before you get out more than a squeak. It tastes soap, or you taste soap.
Chill. Stop struggling.
It's the Rust Blood girl. She's taken the time you've bought her and cashed it in to take refuge in an alleyway. The two of you hold still as the purple blood storms by, stomping and cursing and bleeding from a gash across his forehead. Ha! You did that. Your leg did that. You will never get over the rush you receive from doing something cool and competent. Marsti holds on to you until you hear the sound of his footsteps fade. You feel a heartbeat hammering against your back. She lets you go and slides away to the other side of the alley, as if in apology for being so close to you before. Her boots squeak. You take a few steps nearer so you don't have to shout to be heard. You thank her for helping. You're both just all about helping, apparently. You decide not to mention the part where you tried very hard not to get involved.
Yeah. You didn't have to do that. Actually, you shouldn't have. I'm perfectly capable of tripping my own clowns.
You tell her that you have no doubt that's true, even if she doesn't have a sword in her mop handle. She seems to have a good pair of legs. Mentioning her mop appears to remind her that she left all of her cleaning equipment out on the street. She takes a furtive glance back down the way the guy had gone, and then heads back towards the graffiti. You scamper to keep up.
You shouldn't be out alone in a place like this. Not that I can really summon much gumption to care beyond this one walk down the street. But did you come here to die? Because that's what's gonna happen if you keep this shit up. What's your deal?
You don't really know about your deal. You've worked really hard to not consider your deal at all, because the existential radio static that prickles at the base of your neck when you think about your deal is astoundingly unpleasant. Attempting to change the subject, you asked her if maybe she shouldn't get out of here while she has the chance. Is that bucket really that important to her? Mercy looks at you with a certain eyebrow raise that you're well accustomed to by now. Oh shit, you just put your foot in it again, culture-wise. You wish you could find a book with a crash course on Alternia, or at least a decent Wikipedia article, but it's not like there's any helpful Earth Guide for Idiots. At least you've never heard of one. Besides, things are different depending on where you are on Earth geographically. You imagine it's the same for Alternia. You feel positively nauseated at the idea of having to learn a whole new set of societal norms. You'll just stay in this particular city, thank you very much.
Do I care about my bucket? That's kind of a weird way to phrase it. I care about it as much as the next person who doesn't want to get culled. Also, scourdrays don't grow on coniferous fauna.
She tosses the Scottish sponges back into the bucket. You bend down to hell, but she stops with a sardonic glance. Most of her glances are sardonic, but this one especially so. She goes back to work on the graffiti.
If you're going to hang around, you could make yourself less useless. Watch and make sure that high blood doesn't come back.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can totally do that. Of course, you won't be able to actually do anything if he comes back. Where's Rimele when you need her? Maybe you could use your own limp corpse to slow the clown down? Not that you know Marsti well enough yet to love the idea of sacrificing yourself for her. Man, character development is great. Not immediately going to your death is great. That thought sends a creeping wash of anxiety along your spine. You don't understand it, so you try to distract yourself. You ask Marsti if she just cleans graffiti or if she has other jobs. Okay, well, maybe not jobs. You know nobody on Alternia has an actual job.
Whatever I'm feeling, mostly. Today I was feeling getting rid of this incredibly ugly piece of shit drawing. Tomorrow I might be feeling dirty front doormats. Depends on my mood.
Yeah, you get that. You are also a person of mercurial moods. Do you seek out new friends tonight or go to one of your standby pals? Sometimes the universe just sweeps in and decides for you.
Yeah, well, you're extremely weird and focused on weird shit, but also kind of magnetic at the same time. It's freaking me out.
Wow, thank you. Marsti dunks her sponge back into the bucket. Or scoundry, right? Buckets are dirty. Scourdray, right? The buckets are dirty.
The drones don't make it down here very often. So there's a lot of shit to scrub.
You tell her it's cool that she likes cleaning so much. Where you're from, physical labor is considered morally virtuous, but also kind of looked down on? Fuck, maybe you could use an Earth Cultural Handbook for your own damn self.
Who said anything about liking it? Who made the rule that I can only do what I like?
She slams the sponge down hard into the scourdray, getting water down the front of her apron.
This is just what I do. What, do you like wandering around in someone else's hoodie? Accosting strangers?
I know. Sometimes you didn't choose the friend life. The friend life chose you. But Marsti isn't a stranger in the strange world like you are. She got horns and gray skin and everything. You realize she's a rusty, but come on.
Oh, yeah. How many burgundies do you know exactly?
Well, one. And he's pretty interested in, meat? But he's pretty enthusiastic about it. One might say over-enthusiastic.
You think I'm not enthusiastic?
She scrubs harder to show you how enthusiastic she can be. A delicate calligraphy-based rendering of the word "globe gobbler" disappears beneath her soapy hands. Okay, maybe Damon is not the greatest example of someone enjoying their hobbies in a healthy and natural way, but you know plenty of other low bloods with cool hobbies. Skilla, Chixie, Sarava.
Am I supposed to know who these idiots are? Not all low bloods know each other.
Oh man, that's not what you meant at all.
I'm not going to explain my life story to some random alien. Are you going to help or not?
Oh well, you thought you were supposed to be keeping an eye out for clowns?
Yeah, well, instead you're asking me invasive questions. So now help me scrub.
Despite these mixed signals, you pick up a sponge and start cleaning. This is actually a lot harder work than it looks like, and your back and shoulders begin to ache immediately. Immorsi does this every day. She must be ripped under that jacket. She stops talking, and you just clean alongside her, worried that you're royally screwing this up. You don't know how to fix it. The graffiti is quickly disappearing beneath your combined efforts, and you aren't sure how much longer she's going to put up with you after that. You gotta pull out those big friendship guns, and fast. You ask, in your characteristically smooth style, what she's doing after this. Any plans? Just hypothetically.
Who knows? Probably I'll just look for more shit to clean.
Well, it just so happened you know a lot of dirty places. Just exceptionally filthy.
Oh yeah? Where?
Okay, filthy. You want to go uptown or downtown? Uptown funk might be giving it to you, but downtown, I don't know how to lead into that. Rabbit edge looking ass hair. Oh, fuck off.
Looks more like
it doesn't have the highlight, but I can see what you mean.
No, think more what's his name? Max or something? I don't remember what his name is from Don't Starve.
Okay, I can understand what that game is, but I don't know the character.
I don't know the character either, but it's the front page character.
Yeah, front guy. The guy on the front.
Yeah, her hair reminds me a lot more of that.
Oh shit. The poll didn't go up because like content does not meet guidelines. Saying filth is not part of the guidelines. Where's the trash? Okay. I was like, wait, where's the poll?
Lamau.
Legitimately filth. You can't say filth in the poll. What the fuck is with Twitch's weird guidelines? Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. Let me see.
Oh no, somebody better tie the poll real fast.
What do you mean someone better?
Number 2 is out ahead with 7.
Don't convince them to tie polls. God. Alright, we're going downtown. You suggest that this place sure looks ripe for some serious power cleaning. Cause wow, filthy.
Yeah, I guess. I was planning on cleaning down here anyway. The drones mostly take care of the high blood neighborhoods.
Interesting. Zebra had low bloods cleaning for him, but maybe he's an exception.
I'm not here to explain cultural dynamics to you. At least not for free.
You consider mentioning that you're the main character and thus totally deserving of cultural exposition, but you doubt she'd take that well. Also, it's kind of a weird thing to say, so never mind that. You show Marcy an alley you recognize, the one with the incinerator where Polypa had gotten rid of her assassination disguise. Here, maybe.
Too easy.
Okay, well, what about that stretch of road where Rimele killed a dude? There's still quite a bit of purple blood splattered around.
Pretty good. But no. I don't have the right outfit for blood.
Jesus, picky, God.
Oh, sorry. Are my personal preferences inconveniencing you?
No, but you're not used to this shit taking so long to pop off. Usually you made a friend by this point, or you've been killed.
You've been killed before? What are you, a beast? 9 lives?
In retrospect, that was also a pretty weird thing to say. You meant it as a metaphor. Sometimes your internal monologue gets out of hand and spills out into your interlocution.
Whatever, dude.
You're considering just bringing her back to your place to clean up the mess you've made there, when you realize Marcy is no longer with you. You turn around to find her gazing down an adjacent street into an empty lot. The space gives you a brief twinge of recognition, before it fizzles away to nothing. Meh, probably just deja vu. At first, you don't notice the person sitting on the tire pile, because without her other half, her silhouette is underwhelming.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, Normie.
Oh, hi, Follicle. It's been a while. She might notice that you're a whole lot less normal than you used to be.
They're right. They're weird as hell.
Hey, you're also like 80% more confident than you used to be. Don't back down from the insults. You don't back down from insults. Perhaps Marcy is the one who's weird because she's the one who's so into fucking cleaning up after people. That's really strange.
Hey, that's a little judgy. Yeah, for real.
Oh, you've been expecting Follicle to join you and Marcy. You didn't want to be too mean or anything. You're just really sick of having your intelligence insulted concerning stuff you absolutely could have no way of knowing about. You wanted to make her look like an asshole, but as usual, it seems to be, in fact, you who are the asshole. Marcy seems to agree.
Yeah, maybe go fuck yourself a little bit.
You apologize. You didn't mean it. You just experienced pilot confusion when there's too many friends in one place. You're sorry. You didn't mean to insult her hobby, but she's actually doesn't really seem too into it. You're just trying to help. You know plenty of low bloods who don't do all sorts of activities.
Oh yeah? Who?
Well, Follicle, for instance. She trolls. Wait. You need another word. She and her boyfriend harass people, and they seem to enjoy that. Also, that Skilla and Chixie and Sarava, they all excel in their fields to a certain extent.
Right. So how's that going for them?
Well, you deflate somewhat. Chixie gets skeeved on all of the time. Skilla is constantly have to defend her home and loses against thieves. Sarava literally had to gouge out their own eye and downplay the psychic power. Vicaire, well, near you can tell, Vicaire is having a great time falling off of cliffs and imagining the firmament above. He could have been an outlier and therefore shouldn't be counted. While you're working through your apparent classism through the navel-gazing monologue, Marcy is checking Follicle out, like really checking her out.
Who the fuck are you?
Follicle slaps Marcy's hand away.
Keep your fronds to yourself.
Marcy raises her goggles up to her forehead.
You've got void rot. No shit. Troll Sherlock.
Marcy gives her another once-over. She looks impressed. You honestly can't blame her. If Marcy likes grimy things, well, Follicle is right up her alley. Dirt El Dorado. Selfishly, you wish you could met Marcy back when you were more of a wreck at the beginning of your adventure.
You're filthy. And you have no idea what
No.
you're talking about. Also, fuck you.
Marcy touches her own forehead, slowly this time, as to not to take her by surprise. Follicle resembles a nervous little bug trying to decide whether or not to scuttle away.
Do you think the dirt helped keep you insulated? It's actually the opposite of that. If you were less grimy, the energy transfer would be easier.
Oh right, Cooper isn't here, which means her giant battery isn't here either.
Yeah, I sent him out for takeout. I needed a break.
But won't she, die?
Not instantly. Does your husk top die as soon as you unplug it? What are you? A fucking void rot scholar? What do you know? I know a lot of things.
You're asking Marcy if she's interested in medicine. Maybe she can go into that. Marcy rounds you in a stark irritation. This is the most emotion she's shown since you've met her.
Whatever you're trying to do here, stop. I'm not stupid. What do you think they'll say if I applied to be a medic off-planet? They'd laugh their asses off and hand me a saturated scrub pole. And that's if they're feeling generous. This is what I do. So let me do it.
Chastened and uncharacteristically speechless, you nod and let Marcy turn back the follicle. You really don't want to just leave it like that, but maybe the truly friendly thing here would be less trying to improve your friend's life and just letting them live it. Damon had told you the same thing all those months ago. He's planning just to keep his head down and maybe try to stay alive. It's not uplifting, but maybe not everything has to be. Marcy gives Follicle some advice as the best way to make sure our body retains as much energy as possible. Follicle groans, and you're pretty sure that you notice if she had eyes, she'd be rolling them. You do notice, however, that she listens. Marcy starts back down the sidewalk after that, pushing her Scoudray in front of her. After a moment's hesitation, you follow, half expecting for her to get mad again. It says she just slows down so you can catch up. She pulled her goggles back down over her eyes. You think they're probably more there for social reasons than protective ones. Sheepishly, you apologize for being a busybody back there. You're just really used to wanting to help people out, kind of for selfish reasons, friendship reasons, but still.
Yeah, it's fine. No hard feelings.
You're just like fixing things when they're busted, or when you've busted them through your own chronic idiocy. Sometimes you just got to do what you can, but you think Marcy might understand that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I might.
Okay, it just be like that. Sometimes just be like that, man.
Yeah. Sometimes it do. Wait, we didn't do her.
Yeah, we didn't do it. Yeah, we haven't done any of the other routes. We once again were able to get the good. Oh wait.
Well, we got the intervene. So mind your own fucking business.
Okay, Uptown Funk. It just so happens that you have connections, uptown girls, and boys. You ask Marcy how she'd like to clean a mansion.
I guess that would be cool. What are you thinking?
Oh no. Well, first of all, you want to bring your new friend to your swank stolen car. Marcy doesn't seem that interested, although she does comment that she's never been in a scuttle buggy. Then she begins picking up the crumbs from your back seat. You tell her she doesn't have to clean up after you.
Bold of you to assume I'm doing it for you.
You shrug. You've come to accept that some of your friends are just fundamentally different to understand. Difficult. Some days you really think you're beginning to get it, and the next you remember that you're an alien. That alien isn't just your immigration status. Marcy stares out the window as the houses get bigger and grander. The car passes beneath an archway, and the lights sweep over the two of you. Marcy stiffens. You tell it not to worry. It's just a sensor to discern your blood color. Malik gives you a plug-in to scramble it. No stress.
Must be nice to have friends in high places.
You ask Marcy where she lives.
Wherever I feel like. Depends.
So she's just like Damon. Her hive was destroyed, or possibly up a tree like Boldier. Although it's possible she was just fucking with you.
I wish you'd stop comparing me to people like I should know what you're talking about. And no, my hive is fine. It just gets boring cleaning the same fucking building over and over again.
You get how that could be cool, going from place to place, like Damon goes looking for meat, and Connell and his Daya look for people to kill. Everyone here seems to be weirdly obsessive and hyper-fixated. Maybe that's what happens when you bring up a bunch of kids in a robot-regulated world where the only rule is that they don't get cold. And, by the way, some of you are inherently inferior. Have fun! As you get closer to Zebra's hive, you begin to get chilly strut pods. What if he tries to make Marcy into one of his, yes? He has that weird thing for low bloods. You figure she'll be safe if she's with you, but you aren't always the best at making good decisions when you have more than one friend to deal with at once. The sight of Zebra's luces glaring at you from upstairs window clinches it. You can't take another condescending stare from Zebra Dad.
Where are we going? I hope you aren't talking about this pathetic mess on the seat. Barely worth my time.
You could make a better mess, you swear.
Ugh, no. I don't want a staged mess.
Look, okay. Who do you know is kind of a slob, but also not a total piece of shit? Goat Dad lets you in with hysterically happy bleat. Aw, miss you too, Goat Dad. Marcy weathers his snuffling and nuzzles, and when he tries to eat one of her rubber gloves, she scratches him beyond the ears as a distraction, as she gently removes the glove from his mouth.
I need these, actually.
You call out to Gelk. Yeah. Was it Gelk? Yeah, it was Gelk. Gaelic. Okay. But he doesn't respond. Maybe he's out. The coffee pot is half full, but is cold. Goat Dad bleats and butts you gently. Aw, poor guy. Are you lonely? Has Gaelic been neglecting you now that he has a hate boyfriend? Marcy is a little bit more uncomfortable here than she has been in your car. But when she catches the sight of Gaelic's study, all of that slogs off. It's even more of a mess than it had been the last time you were here, when he actually been trying to impress you with his intellectual clutter. She gets down to work immediately, stacking books alphabetically and sorting papers into piles by subject. You know Gaelic is a type A personality who will probably go briefly ballistic at knowledge someone has messed with his stuff, but Marcy is so organized and thorough. You feel sort of weird that weird about just standing here and watching her clean. So you gather up all the used dishes and bring them into the kitchen. When you're done with that, you figure you'll just try to be entertaining. You ask her if she's seen any movies recently, since you've made friends with Zabid and started hanging out with Tagiri's Anime Club. You've been exposed to multiple cultural touchstones.
Yeah, I don't really watch much TV. Don't worry, I don't need to be entertained.
She kneels down to start dusting beneath the couch.
I know you think I'm basic, and that's fine.
I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks, let alone a condescending alien with no blood color to speak of.
Yikes.
So, if you wouldn't mind.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh no. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
What the hell is that noise?
And there you go again, getting swept up in a friendship endeavor and totally beefing it. You forgot that Goat Dad's propensity for nomming on anything within reach, and he spent the last 10 minutes happily munching on several leather-bound notebooks. Gaelic's experimental word rumpuses. Fuck, he loves those. He's gonna murder you. Let's move another layer onto this farce. The front door creaks over and Gaelic's voice rings out, calling to Goat Dad, who lets out an excited bleat and scampers off, trailing little white scraps. Marcy looks from you to the front of the house and down the paper trail. Then she's out the window and off down the hill. Because though basic she may be, she's no idiot.
Hey, wait a minute. Remember, this was one of the this is basically the same exact thing as one of Gaelic's endings.
Yeah. What damn she racist? Everybody here is racist. Yeah, it's part of life. You gotta be racist to be a troll.
It's just that on Alternia, it's like weirdly justified.
Weird blood colors.
All right. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now, you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth, surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here looks like most of the other life forms in Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flank writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacled flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved on acid. Or in acid. You should have known that eventually you would have to come up against the local flora, so you proceed discreetly, avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly, your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Its face and horns are painted with smudged black and white marks. Despite its diminutive physique, it has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any troll. Then the small figure sees you too, and is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling its horns in an overhanging tree branch and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. No, I would go more for...
Wait. I almost want to do, like, Beavis or Butthead. I don't know why. I just see him, and I just say, Beavis.
You do you.
I will do me.
You beg the small person's pardon and assure him that you were fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size.
Huh?
Yes, you will be happy to help him down, as long as he promises not to attack you with the many-bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozen cans of an inexpensive soft drink held in bandoliers crossing his chest. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag or ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. Carico Pierre, or Piero. If lost, call Branya Ursima. Suddenly, this all makes sense.
This Carico Pierrot must have been one of Bronya's reject runt wrigglers who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend, but you've got zero signal out here. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals just as it looks like it eats everything else. You disappointedly slip your palm husk back into your pocket. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope will have time to discuss later. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if you buried in your torso, however unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of the path or their trigger roots. Once you're behind Carico, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch and allowing him to drop lightly to the ground.
Honk!
You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there's a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of the societal graces as you are and gets the conversational ball rolling himself.
Honk?
You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemaspectrum categories. Wild, right? Although not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think you're really starting to blend in with the local color.
Honk?
Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a couple of quarts low due to the robust conditions of life on Alternia, some of which you had recently had the honor of encountering.
Honk?
You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths into the Alternian woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetarian looks like it was designed by the Marquis de Sade. Not that he knows who the Marquis de Sade is. You can't help but feel that it would be much better if only you had a skulk buddy you could continue. How wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on friend synonyms by now.
Honk?
No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your potential new friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off. Give him some space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to force yourself on others or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Okay, well, maybe you've forced yourself on others in the past and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've even done this a lot, but you've recently evolved as a person. You now know that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship sprouts naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. You're reflecting thus on the theme of friendship when a loud pours suddenly from the sky above you. It's a crackling, sizzling sound, like a chitinous thing with too many legs struggling in a hot frying pan. Carico jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, but huge, faceless, metal, and with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. It's also not a very sparkling conversationalist. It remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It elaborates further.
Honk! Okay. It's just Honk. He cannot talk, can he?
Nope.
Honk.
Maybe you should look up who Marquis de Sade is, Freezy. Maybe this should have come up in education.
I don't know what kind of high school education did you get, Freezy?
I don't know who the Marquis de Sade is either. So.
Wow, what the fuck? Nobody mentioned this extremely influential historical figure?
I know the Marquis Andor. Dantian, Alphonse, Francis, Marquis de Sade. Revolutionary politician, famous writer for this depiction of libertine sexuality as number of accused sex crimes. Oh, cool. He was a sex pest.
Yep. And he's the reason, he's the reason and the person behind sadist.
Sadism.
Yes, he's basically, I don't know if you'd call him the founder, but like he's the origin point of sadism, as in Marquis de Sadism. Get it? Sadism. It's interesting that Sade now has the implication of sadism behind it. All because one dude, one Marquis. Sorry.
Yeah.
You run in wild panic. It's a drone. Even the Alternian badasses you've hung out with have been terrified of the drones. Up close, it's one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen, and it's making noises which you didn't know they even did, which probably means something sinister. You race at top speed down the twisting path, focusing your senses to their breaking point to avoid trigger roots, razor leaves, and acid pods. At first, you hear the pattering of small feet running behind you as you redouble your speed. But as you redouble your speed, the pattering falls back and after a while is lost in the distance. You sprint for what seems like a lifetime before you finally catch your foot on a trigger root and go flying through the air, barely missing being sliced into 100 pieces of tumbling ham by the barbed spring vine that leashes across the path only inches behind you. You land in the dirt, wind knocked out of you, but otherwise unhurt. You lie there, catching your breath and waiting, but nothing happens. No enormous metal monster whizzes down the path to impale you. No small clown-faced individual overtakes you on his short legs. Finally, after enough nothing happens, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You're alone on the path, and no sound of either friend or potential friend or foe can be heard. No birds sing, which is probably good. You imagine that any birds native to this forest would probably sing by croaking up putrid sludge, and the sludge would be poisonous or radioactive. But leaving aside the character of the local fauna, what should you do? Keep on down the path, putting more distance between yourself and the drone? Or should you go back to see if Karako is okay? You waffle for a while, then decide to go back. You sneak back along the path. You sneak a long, long way, but however far you go, there are no signs of either Karako or the drone. You don't know whether the drone picked Karako up and took him away, or disemboweled him and scattered the fragments, or whether Karako leapt into the undergrowth and hid or escaped, or what. One way or the other, you're all alone again on this path. Path through shit smell forest.
Oh well, game over. We lost a child.
You would not be a good caretaker. Kidding.
All right, back. I kind of almost have a feeling this one might be short. I don't know why.
Maybe. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil repose. Attitude. Several of the bladed hands in Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think drones know what a wristwatch is anyway. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth and hovers above the path several meters from where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite a terrifying sight, actually. The drone observes soullessly, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. The drone's blank metal head studies you, or it could be studying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. This examination or non-examination continues for some time. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object that takes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed until with a drilly it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless non-standard citizens to euthanize. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. You turn to Karako to comment on the recent fervor, but stop when you see the looking he is directing at you. A warm and admiring look, an affectionate and esteeming look, a look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put out your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal on this sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. God, can't the narrative chill for one single moment? Especially a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship. You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, are get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Three figures wearing swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry, and insouciant expressions. Three figures with gills on their necks and small stylized fins on their faces. Oh man, is it possible that you finally happened upon a group of the legendary Sea Dwellers? They stop short when they see you and Karako, obviously startled. They study you. You study them. Then fin-headed interloper one, in a one-piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Finhead Interloper 2 in a violet wetsuit and rings slaps her thigh, and Finhead Interloper 3 in checkered swimming trunks holds his sides. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil is the best medicine, and any event is better than homicidal mania. On the other hand, his laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking, and supercilious. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple under his face paint, and his jaws clenching. However, he just stares with stony indignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be?" "Shrimp Cassidy and the Squamous Kid," says her second companion. "A cobalt minnow and his mutated soft shell crab," says her third. Looks like the minnow mall went down, or god damn it. Looks like the minnow mall went one.
The minimal one
went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other one. Fuck. Sorry, the sea dwellers and their puns also.
The minimal
make
one.
It hard. Yeah, make it harder though. The sea dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face is taking on a harsh, glowering look. You guess that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life. And as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. No. Remember that drone? It's probably still around here somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into mother grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders. No whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers. And you, little boy, or buoy, put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. In fact, why is it you two are still porpoindicular. In the presence of sea dwellers, you should be bowed at right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angry and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons in his belt jingle from his enraged tremble. Oh, see the little clownfish. He's getting angry. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? I doubt even has a Lucis. A self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. The Lucis cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand, and hurtles toward the sea dwellers.
Honk! Honk! What's...
I'm gonna grab small little bite eat, but not like big eat, but like small.
Eat shit and pissing. Anyways, have a good night, Sean. Doot. Boom, 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 boom. I like him. He's just like you, Freezy. For real, for real. Do. God. Can I not? Dude. Oh, you motherfuckers. Would y'all stop tying? I'm gonna have to flip the coin. Where's my coin flipper? Tails. I also kind of wish I knew what was going on with the weird stuttering. I feel like something is just causing it. And oh wait, I think I know what usually causes it. Let me see here. While we're waiting on Lulu to get back. Nope, it's still on the five. No, it's on the right one. Okay,
I return.
Give me a second. I am currently frozen.
Huh?
Give me a second. They tied it, but we're going to go with number 2 because that's what the bloody
the bloody
coin said.
All right.
Leap into the fray and lend comfort and support.
You leap into the fray to lend comfort and support. You would have counseled Karako to turn the other cheek and keep turning the cheek after cheek until the sea dwellers got fed up and went away. But now that things have hotted up, you're not about to let down the side. Hold on just a second. Set something. Oh, there it is. Karako crashes into the sea dwellers, his bladed weapons whirling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. It hurt your foot, but doesn't seem to have any other effect. These sea dwellers are made of tough stuff, or you're extremely flimsy. Signs have recently pointed to the latter. Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger foot of a spring thorn growing along the path next to where the violet bloods are enduring Hurricane Clown. The coiled stalk springs out, impaling the dude with a 12-foot-long thorns. Hold on. He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kind of pretty. But these sea dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the spring thorn stalk away from him, pulling the thorns out, and flings it into the woods. Then he takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Meanwhile, Kariko's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other two sea dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. But these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polypa telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Kariko's hand and buries it in Kariko's stomach. This, unsurprisingly, is distracting for a poor little clown, allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab handfuls of bladed weapons from his belt and bury them in various parts of his body. You dance around, delivering harmless kicks and curses. Kariko is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. Then, as more and more bladed weapons are buried in his body, he seems to lose focus. The weapons he's been brandishing fall from his hands. Finally, he falls to the ground in the center of a spreading pool of purple blood, twitches feebly for a minute, and then is still. You stare in disbelief at the corpse of one who, if he had been spared just a short while longer, would have been your friend. One despised and rejected, a clown of suffering, familiar with pain. They flogged him and mocked him and spit on him, and then killed him. You struggle to come to terms with this. While you're doing that, one of the remaining sea dwellers grabs you by the hair and suplexes you onto the ground. Your head snaps back and pain explodes behind your eyes. You are left lying on your back and trying to stay conscious, which is why you have a good view of what happens next. In the dark sky above you, something opens, something even darker than the sky. A hole, like a cave in the clouds. It widens until you see that in the cave, a carousel with wooden horses mounted on brass posts rotates. The horses plunge up and down in time with carnival music played by a mechanical. Riding the horses are naked store window mannequins. Their legs slung awkwardly over the horses' backs. Their stiff arms down by their sides in whatever pose they were created. The horns huge and wildly shaped. You all right there?
No, I just realized what this is.
In the darkness above the carousel, other naked mannequins with plastic wings tied to their backs are supported on wires, and above these in turn, a net of white Christmas tree lights twinkle against the roof of the dark cave or circus tent or whatever it is, throwing their dim starlight illumination down in the rotating carousel. As you watch, two of the winged mannequins break loose from their wires and fly down from that dark region into the night sky in the dimension Alternia occupies. They maneuver until the stiff hands on the ends of their stiff arms are underneath Kariko, and then they lift him up into the sky and into the dark carnival.
There it is.
You hear a last faint reviving honk as they set him on one of the wooden horses, and then the hole in the sky closes, and there is nothing but the night sky above you. All is silent and still again. An odd feeling comes over you. You don't think you've ever felt such a feeling, just the reality of how utterly insignificant you are. Sure, you've spent the last few months wandering with no desire but the desire for connection, and you are, in a way, a being unique in this galaxy. But honestly, what does that even mean? You flit in and out of people's lives. There 1 minute, gone the next, always moving from friend to friend. You are, for all intents and purposes, a virtual non-entity, a bland point-of-view vector, a neutral second-person narrator, becoming or barely coming into the picture, a retiring entity, expressing only a simple one-dimensional desire for friendship. But just about now, you feel that things have gone pretty far, and just about now, you feel that you've had about enough. Enough of arrogant high-bloods. Enough, in fact, of short wavelength hemotypes, carelessly and without compunction, killing and maiming and exploiting those of longer wavelengths. Of a survival of the fittest regime that seems to come down to survival of the most violent psychopaths. This is a moral universe, is it not? You ask yourself. Are repulsive cruelty and sickening evil punished in this universe, or are they not? Does an ethical force operate in this universe, or does it not? You don't know the answer to these questions, but you do know one thing. You intend to depart for once from your
You're one-dimensional.
One-dimensional. I keep trying to say interdimensional. It's so stupid. Your one-dimensional persona. You intend to punish repulsive cruelty and sickening evil if it comes within your ability to do so. You intend to create an ethical force field in your local region. You intend to exert some moral gravity right around where you are if you possibly can. And you realize that this odd feeling you are having seems to be drawing moral Higgs bosons out of the moral ground state, and right out of the fabric of this multicolored blood-soaked planet that heaves under your feet. You take on the aspect of Clown Sarker. Seizing 2 cans of inexpensive soft drink from where they fell from Kariko's bandoliers, you shake them and pull the pins. Then, with malice aforethought, you direct the twin streams at the Sea Dwellers. You smell banana and strawberry as the deadly streams play upon them. Already weakened, they fall back with cries under the withering onslaught. As soon as the streams slacken, you take up 2 more cans, shake them, and deal out death to the unrighteous. You smell peach and diet root beer this time, but no pity softens your heart. You wouldn't care even if it were pineapple watermelon you were spraying on these brutes. But these finheads are made of tough stuff. Rallying even in the face of this intense onslaught, they push forward and, seizing some bladed weapons from the purple pool, or blood pool, advance upon you. Not one step back. You vow to the memory of Kariko Pierrot. You stand your ground in desperation, grabbing some cans of diet tonic water and club soda and opening up your batteries once again, but to no avail. A trident pierces you to the bone, followed by a scimitar, a tomahawk, a short spear, and so many other bladed weapons that the sheer weight of them drives you to the ground, where your red, precious blood flows in moderate streams, mixing with the purple blood of your proto-friend. This is the end, you realize, but you are glad you died in righteous battle. You are glad you created even the tiny, sputtering temporary moral force field in your local region that you did. You can feel your life and narrative point of view slipping away, but you are content. Yet, what's that you see above you now? A dark space has opened up, even darker than the night sky, and 2 stiff-looking winged figures are descending. They land next to you and gently place their stiff hands under you. Then they ascend once again, lifting you higher and higher into the darker space. As you pass the boundary of the heavenly carnival, your life seems to revive within you, and as the fabric of the place closes around you, and the two stiff mannequins place you on a carousel horse next to Kariko, you realize that planets, universes, dimensions, realities, powers, principalities, and cosmos come and go. But friendship is forever.
Wait. But okay, I mean, I get it. Dark Carnival, ICP, blah blah blah. That's kind of why I started going, oh god. But I mean, this is the music. This music is the bad ending music.
Yeah, because it's a bad end.
But it's still friendship. But it's still friendship.
It's a good end, but a bad end. Kind of an obvious, this wasn't the right ending. But hey.
Alright, leap to your aid, and then grab him. Fuck you. You're not doing this.
You leap forward and grab Kariko by the coattails, or by his belt. You aren't actually sure what a coattail is. Jesus, he's strong. You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of the Sea Dwellers. After a startled moment in which they jump backwards, the sea dwellers have started to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. Hey, hey, you shout at Karako, trying to be heard above the fracas, holding on with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half a mind to just let him go, to pay the sea dwellers back for their insults, but you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto-friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. You've now succeeded in wrapping your arms all the way around him, and now you get in front of him, holding him back with straight arms, bellowing soothingly into his face and trying to avoid the bladed weapons he is brandishing. But it's not working. You can see from the contorted features and the bared teeth, the distended nostrils with smoke coming out, the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly, his rage seems to reach a kindling point. His body vibrates violently, his eyes grow huge and round. And suddenly, from his body, something like a nuclear blast pressure wave of fear and violence sends you flying through the air like a scrap of paper in a gale. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? But you can see as you soar above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern retribution that awaits assholes. Then your head collides with a tree branch and you're rendered unable to narrate for a while. You wake up lying in the dust as consciousness returns. You realize that you're lying on the path, and as it returns further, that a small clown-painted figure is seated next to you, quite calm now. He smiles fondly as he sees you sit up.
Honk!
You smile in return. You express relief. I'm just thinking about how long it's been since you had not to say anything. You express this is like the opposite of doing Stelsa or Gaelic. You express relief that he realizes you were acting in his best interests, holding him back from the Finheads. And now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of clown sorcery, or whatever that was, everything has turned out for the best. Karako holds up his arms for a hug. Then, remembering the bladed weapons in his belt, sticks out his hand. You shake it firmly. Or warmly.
Wow, that was the stupidest, fastest one. He
works his fucking clown magic and then boom, done. Boom.
Because the bad ending is so long.
Yeah, meanwhile the bad ending, here's like 3 chapters on how you fucked up.
Yeah. You walk with a purpose. You don't really have a purpose, aside from friendship, of course, but you know these streets pretty well by this point, so you can at least strut like you got one.
Let's see. So here's the question. Do you want to be really low energy?
Low energy southern. You
don't understand. This guy is like or girl, that they're them. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
They are a sloth.
A sloth. Okay, I would rather be the sloth because I didn't get a lot with that last part.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, then. Actually, you know what? You think you've had it up to here with friendship. You're sure you'll be back on your regular friend-making bullshit later, but today is just one of those days. A curl up under the blanket with your favorite show kind of day. Leave your phone on silent and say nothing to no one sort of day. And honestly, you've watched a friend almost die of poisoning and gazed upon the juggalo afterlife. You think you've more than earned a day or night, rather of a day or night rather of respite like this. So just for today, you turn your back on this new swath of Alternian city you were considering walking through, and head back to ye old hideout. No explorations now, only bed. You drag yourself up the scaffolding to your hidey hole. More than anything, more than binging on media or relaxing amidst peace and quiet, you want to take a nice long nap. So you spill yourself into the little pile of bedding, pillows, and various pieces of clothing you've managed to throw together and scuttle or settle in. As soon as your body touches it, you're out like a light. But it wasn't very long until you're awake again, and not because your body is rousing itself or after sufficient slumber, but because of a persistent scrabbling around, a persistent uh, a, s- a pers- oh gosh, it's just a repeat of the same thing. Persistent scrabbling sound that's followed by a loud thunk. Typically, that wouldn't be enough to get you up. You're a pretty heavy sleeper, but the noise is accompanied by the nagging sensation that whatever is making the noise is in the room with you, and that has you bolting upright. You must have woken up in the middle of your REM cycle because you feel like a mummy rising out of the crypt. Is this real life, or is this just fantasy? Your brain struggles to make sense of your surroundings through the fog of residual sleepiness that's still settled over you as you stumble to your feet. Eventually, you're able to discern that the noise is coming from behind and above you, where the ceiling is. What the hell? Is there a raccoon crawling in the vents? Does Alternia even have raccoons? If it does, you're pretty sure you wouldn't want to meet one, but you can't exactly leave it in your you can't exactly leave it in your living space either. You get up to investigate. The noise isn't coming from the ceiling like you thought, but from a platform that's been shoved in unceremoniously to the very back of the watchtower. There's a large object in front of it that wasn't there before, a giant curved lens that could only have come from the hole that is now in the side of the platform structure. Maybe this is an old scope or old telescope or camera that the Condesce once used for surveillance. The scrabbling continues. It's coming from within the structure. You're not eager for whatever it is in there to come jumping out at you as soon as you stick your head inside, but you steel your nerves and hoist yourself up. You find yourself face to face with not some weird animal or bug, but a troll. This is a bona fide friend opportunity. It's practically fallen in your lap, but you find yourself unexpectedly ornery about it. You would think that you could expect some privacy in your own home, or well, the place you've adopted as home in Alternia anyway. But apparently not. Even when you've decided that you aren't in a friending mood, there the universe goes, yeeting new friends into your path anyways. Can't you go a day on this planet without dancing the whole friendship jig? It quickly becomes obvious that this mysterious stranger isn't going to offer you anything more than enigmatic gazing into the middle distance. Uh, what exactly are they doing in your hideout, you ask? If they were thinking about moving in, they could have at least asked you first. You're the current occupant, after all.
I don't want to move in. I already have a hive. I came up here for that.
Okay, you can talk a little bit faster. They point past you. You can only assume they're referring to the giant lens you'd seen on the floor. Well, if they'd gotten what they'd come for, why are they still hanging out in the platform's innards like this?
I'm stuck.
Like, just sound more. I think lazy is the right description.
Lazy.
Maybe it's just like.
I'm stuck.
And they didn't try calling for help?
I didn't notice you. Wherever you came from. I didn't think anyone else was here.
Would they perhaps like some help?
Maybe.
As you hop down from the platform, you find your ire draining from you, much like flesh juice from a pimple. It's difficult to stay angry upon witnessing what's possibly the most pathetic burglary attempt ever, and that's counting your little fiasco with your ship. After walking around to the other side of the platform, you can see the troll's booted legs sticking out from a gap in the structure. It looks much too narrow for anyone to crawl through, and yet that's exactly what they must have done in order to push the lens out from behind. You yell that you're going to try and pull them out. You hear a faint
Okay.
And reach up to grab them around the waist, pulling hard. It takes a couple of tries, but with one last particularly hard tug, you're finally able to pull them free. They tumble down on top of you.
Thanks for getting me unstuck and breaking my fall.
You didn't really do that part on purpose, but you're glad they appreciated it, you guess. They seem pretty content to continue lying on top of you, actually, but they're heavy, so you wriggle out from underneath them like an earwig from under a rock and clamber to your feet. You nod at the lens. That's what they want, huh? The troll sits up, crossing their legs. You can see them more clearly now that they aren't sequestered inside the platform, although their face is obscured a little by their shaggy hair and floppy, wide-brimmed hat. They look about as sleepy as you felt earlier, as sleepy as you're in danger of feeling again. In fact, their voice is slow and regular, like a metronome dunked in molasses, and it almost threatens to send you right back to bed.
Yeah. So... can I have it?
You swear you can feel your friend-making juices start circulating through your body again with a vengeance after their little sabbatical. You're not really sure what came over you before. Turned down the chance to make a new friend? You? Wow, who kidnapped you and replaced you with a total stranger for a few hours there? You tell the troll of course they can have the lens. It's not like you're doing anything with it, or like it's even yours to begin with. It was just abandoned here along with the rest of this broken down tech. Curiously, you ask what they want it for. Are they building something? Perhaps they're an engineer of some sort.
No. Climbing all the way up here just for some building material would be pretty dumb. I want to use it for art.
Huh. You look at the lens again, skeptically. It's a cool lens, you supposed, but it looks mostly like exactly what it is. Looks like exactly what it is, a hunk of junk. They want to make art out of this? Their work must be pretty,
Oh, hey, what's their art? Okay, I need to bring this up. When y'all are seeing the two dots, I'm actually having to click at least multiple times.
He's lazy, and also
Green and slow. I am not slow.
let me grab something again.
I do. Still don't know why I'm having this weird juddering problem. Maybe, Wait, hold on. I can T-pose for calibration, even though that means nothing. Actually, maybe if I do this? Do a couple of these. Wait, no, I shouldn't keep my hips fixed. Keeping my hips fixed never works out very well.
Sorry.
Yeah. Bum,
Sorry.
bum.
I've only eaten a little bit today, so.
I've been eating ham almost all day because I'm like, I made another ham yesterday.
Ooh, hammy.
And yeah, it's like, so I've cooked over the last 3 days since Saturday, essentially 2 13-pound hams. So we've had a lot of hams. Okay, so we're going with number 2. Weird. Yeah.
The two of you alternate between looking at the lens and each other for a while. Usually over the course of making a new friend, they usually would have asked you to do something by now or presented you with some sort of choice between 2 potential courses of action. Is there anything they'd like to know that do now that they've retrieved their art materials? Just choose one.
Yeah. to.
Guess it's all on you then. They probably want to take the lens back to their hive, right?
I would, but I'm tired and hungry. Foraging for garbage takes a lot of energy, and I used the last of it climbing up here. I don't think I'll be able to carry it by myself.
They really didn't think this whole junk heist thing through very well, did they? But would you look at that? This is an excellent time to make a suggestion.
Man, this is going to be choices. Oh no. Oh no. Yes. I'm guessing the first couple have been like not actual choices at this point. These episodes are getting a little too meta and fourth wall breaking. They're going to get super by the end.
They're not that bad.
This has become AI the Somnium Files. The game Will is in is finally playing, and I'm happy that he's playing it.
But there is a slow merging of timelines. It's not really meta. That's all narrative stuff.
How could you have died but still lived?
Yeah, that's more timelines merging than meta. I don't really consider timeline shenanigans to be meta. You know what I mean?
Understandable. Boom, boom, boom.
That's just someone else manipulating things to make sure things go a certain way.
Okay, number one. Why not look for more easily portable trash?
Sure, this giant lens is pretty neat, but there's probably plenty of other cool stuff they could use that wouldn't be such a pain to move. Your new friend considers this, scratching their cheek.
There is one place that I go to a lot for material.
You nod. Maybe the two of you could go there then. They could help, or you could help. You'll even graciously hold on to the lens for them so they can come get it some other time.
Okay. I would have come back for it, even if you hadn't said anything, though.
They take you to a garbage dump. Or a river, to be completely accurate, which has plenty of garbage washed up on its shore. Something about the strength and direction of the river's currents here seem to pull in the waste that's been dumped into it, concentrating the debris on this muddy patch of land. You're not sure what you expected, really? You had fleeting thoughts about a gleaming art supply store, but they did intimate that they work primarily with garbage.
Here we are. You better not tell anyone about this place. It's a real treasure trove.
They nail you with another intense stare. No, you say, of course not. Their trash haven is safe with you. Satisfied, they pull up the bandana sitting around their neck to cover their nose and mouth. Looks like they're ready to get to work. You're not sure what you should be looking for, though. More discarded computer equipment? Or are they in more of a toilet paper rolling yogurt cup kind of mood?
Whatever catches your eye. If you see anything, just shout.
Now that they mention it, you never got their name.
I'm Charon. Or Karen. If you have chitter, you could follow me.
They hold out their hand for your palm husk. You hand it to them, and they fiddle with it for a second before returning it to you and traipsing off. A little clicking around reveals that they're now in your chitter following list, but also that they've taken the liberty of downloading a new app. An app with a purple-pink camera icon, and okay, you recognize this one as well. Except on Alternia, it's apparently called Pincer Spam. Searching for their Twitter handle leads you to their account on here too, at least. You think it's their account. It's hard to tell from the profile picture, which is a blurry shot of one of their horns and the brim of their hat. Most of what you can see is sky. Maybe skimming their account will give you a better idea of their aesthetic. You roll through photographs that are similarly enigmatic. An intense close-up of a sewer drain lid, the curve of a piece of ceramic, a perbeast sniffing the camera. They've got quite the number of followers, despite the fact that nobody seems to know who they are and that they never reply to comments. You've got a friend in common too. User Sarava Streams for Sweeps has liked a slew of their most recent posts. None of this is very helpful. You also realize that you're standing here stalking your new friend on your phone like a creep when you could just, go talk to them some more. So you hurry off after them. By the time you catch up, they're squinting at something.
What's that? Over there.
You follow their gaze. It's a hideout of some kind, a small cave tucked into the rock. The two of you approach it curiously. Charlin stoops to peer at something on the ground near its entrance, but you decide to venture further in. You think you might hear voices, and their sources become apparent once you've taken a few steps inside.
Who goes there? Reveal yourself. Oh, it's just you. Back for round 2? The likelihood of this battle's outcome being anything other than me kicking your ass is exactly 0. Typically, this would be a massive waste of my time. But lucky for you, I have nothing better to do.
Asdaya surges forward, presumably to attack you, but any air of intimidation his little speech might have had is quickly diffused by Connell grabbing him firmly by the back of his coat and yanking him back.
Dasha, don't be rude.
Asdaya shrugs Connell's hand away. The quiet sizzle of his psionics is like the hiss of a pissed-off cat.
This, my dear Connell, is merely smack talk. As prince among my cast, rudeness is simply not a part of my repertoire.
Connell just snorts.
Well, stop being a strife-hungry dick. My friend is a delicate, okay?
You protest that you aren't at all as delicate as the last time you'd run into each other. You've seen some shit. Asdaya's sparkly sigh nonsense doesn't scare you now. The two of them are too focused on each other to pay attention to you.
You're telling me not to fight for once is pretty rich. Don't you think I feel the same as you? It's been too long since I've had someone to punch. Whose bright idea was it in the first place? To hole up here in a trash dump for days. I told you over and over again that we're here because our quarry is somewhere close. We have to figure out exactly where. It's a perfectly rational plan. You would see that if you just think for a second.
Yikes. You thought that maybe you could have a nice three-way friend reunion, but they're too busy squabbling. Meanwhile, where had Karan gotten off to? You slink away from the escalating sniping, looking around for them. You're not entirely surprised when you find them hunched over some object on the ground, poking at it. You know these two, you say in a stage whisper, pointing at Connell and Asdaya's direction. You could introduce them once there's not quite so much yelling going on. Sharon pulls down their bandana and answer.
No thanks. I found something more interesting over here.
They gesture at the object.
This is a great find. I've never seen anything like it. I could make something amazing out of this.
You take a proper look at the object. It appears to be a miniature satellite dish with a few pipe cleaners sticking out of it. Unlike all this other stuff out here, though, this object is moving. The dish is rotating while a few lights glimmer softly at its base. You're pretty sure this isn't trash. And weren't Connell and Asdaya just discussing tracking someone? Whatever this is probably belongs to them.
Yeah. That's why you've got to distract them so I can nab it.
Okay, this is no longer scavenging. This is straight up thievery. You glance at Connell and Nasdaya again. They're so preoccupied with arguing with each other that they haven't even looked your way. But once they realize the tracker is missing, they'll probably decide to go after Charun to get it back.
If that happens, stall them so I can get away in time.
This doesn't sit right with you. You don't want to screw your two other friends over. And the energy between them is so weird right now. The verbal sparring looks about a hair's breadth away from turning into physical sparring, but they also kind of look like they want to make out. Whatever's going on, you don't want to be caught in the middle of it. That, however, sounds exactly what Charon wants you to do.
I'll make it up to you someday.
Now you just sound like a bridged Sasuke.
Okay,
Uchiha.
so here's the thing. I'm trying to go more towards Eeyore because that's kind of how I feel like he should be talking.
Curse you, Sasuke's brother. I'll get you back somehow. Before you can make a decision, Charon tucks the piece of tech under their arm. They take a running leap towards a fence that sections off this gross trash from shore from the woods, vaulting over it in an impressive display of athletic prowess. You cringe. Charon is really leaving you in the lurch here. This is not the kind of thing a good friend would do. But then maybe you never really were friends in the first place.
Oh, okay. Prince of all Saiyans, Prince of all Saiyans, Prince of all Saiyans.
Prince of all Goldbloods.
Okay, back to him again. I guess one of these choices might actually be a fake choice. Let's see which one it is. Interesting.
They squint at you like they've taken some sort of issue with your comment. Have you managed to offend them? You thought you were being polite, though, or polite enough given the circumstances.
Interesting is usually what people say when they have nothing better to say. Do you have a problem with making art out of trash?
You shake your head rapidly, but the troll is already crossing their arms and shooting you a disapproving look.
I don't think I want to talk to you anymore.
Oh no, does this mean that they're going to leave? And after you'd up and decided to try and add them to your ever-growing friend harem too?
No. I'm tired.
Oh, okay then. They're just gonna kind of glower at you from the floor for a while until they get their strength back enough to leave, you assume. This definitely isn't awkward at all.
Okay, so weird was the correct answer. Okay, this is the exact same thing. You can help carry it, right?
Yeah.
You do that. Make sure you're careful with it.
Of course, of course. You'll treat it with all the delicacy of an egg in an egg and spoon race.
I don't know what that is.
Carrying it to the watchtower's entrance is easy enough. Maneuvering down the cliff face is more complicated. You manage by holding it between you as you navigate from foothold to foothold. When you reach the bottom, the troll looks like they're ready to sit down again, right there in the brush. But you urge them on. Resting in their hive will probably be much more comfortable.
That's the wrong way.
Sheepishly, you whirl back from around from the random direction you were about to stride towards and follow them instead. With them leading the way and you bringing up the rear, the two of you shamble along the path with all the easy grace of two people in a horse costume, but you make it to your new companion's hive much quicker than you would have expected. They come to a stop in front of the entrance to a cave in another cliffside. If this is their place, it isn't very far from yours at all. You're surprised that you haven't run into them until now. They're practically a neighbor.
I've seen you around before. You're pretty hard to miss.
Really? They should have said hi and introduced themselves. The two of you could have been hanging out all this time.
Didn't feel like it.
Ugh.
Besides, I was busy.
With more of this scavenging and art business, you guess. Oh well, you're getting to know each other now, which is what's important. Speaking of, you've been talking and walking along, and you haven't even exchanged names yet. How remiss of you. Usually you would have gotten introductions out of the way from the moment they broke into your hideout, but it's been an odd sort of night.
That's okay. I'm Charon. Now come on. Let's go inside.
Dog. They pull you and the lens forward. They didn't ask your name in return, but you managed to bumblingly introduce yourself as you lurch along into their hive. At home on Earth, you had a thing about garages. You thought it was interesting to scope the sort of stuff people ended up accumulating. You've seen some real gems in your day, a collection of singing and dancing novelty plant figurines, a small army of Furbies without any fur, the beat-up remains of some kind of cat mascot costume. The inside of Charon's hive is as if every single weird garbage or garage you'd ever seen converged to exist simultaneously in the same cave, the platonic ideal of garages. It's hard to believe that someone lives here. If you look closer, though, you begin to notice homey comforts tucked into the metal junkyard scraps and broken furniture piled over the floors and all the way up along the craggy cave walls. A raccoon sits on a ledge on one wall, and you think that's a kitchen cabinet wedged into another?
So, what do you think?
It's pretty cozy, you say, giving them a double thumbs up. The stalactites are a nice touch.
I meant about my art.
Oh, the art, of course. You cast around desperately. Charon's hive is such a jumble of miscellany that it's impossible for you to figure out which of it is art materials, which are finished artworks, and which are Charon's actual belongings. That's a pretty gnarly skull over there with leaves in the eye sockets. The angle at which that umbrella sticks out of the lawn chair is really, compelling. You settle on a purple object in one corner that looks more like a traditional sculpture than a bunch of household items stuck together. Those curves, that amaranthine hue, truly an inspiring piece. Charon looks at you strangely.
That's just the load gapper.
Load gaper.
Gaper.
And that's what they call the toilet.
You don't know much about art, do you?
Busted. No, you really don't. Remle had taught you the importance of giving the people what they want, and Nemesia had taught you the importance of putting a tarp down before lopping off a head so paint doesn't get all over the floor. But you hadn't learned very much about actually creating art from them. As you gaze around the cave again, you find that you really want to understand. Clearly, this is something that's important to Charon. Otherwise, why would they spend the majority of their time on it? You too wish to experience the marvels of the creative process. If only there were a way for you to learn.
If you want to that badly, you could make something out of what I've collected.
Really? But they must have worked so hard to find all of this. Is it really fine for you to just dick around with it? You're surprised to see that Charon looks pleased at what you're saying. It's maybe the most expressive you've seen them since you met.
All art is dicking around.
I'm surprised they know what dicking around means. Looks like you're already starting to get it. You smile proudly.
And anyway, if you make something sucky...
They shrug their shoulders.
I can just take it apart again and reuse its separate components to make something else.
Your smile flags a little.
Where do you want to start?
You rub your chin thoughtfully, wandering over to the lawn chair with the umbrella in it. A pile of fabric is stacked on top. You rifle through it until you find some colors you like. Then you walk across the other side of Charon's hive, reaching for other items you might be able to use. Charon doesn't offer much in terms of guidance aside from cautioning you away from a couple of objects that are actually finished artworks. Whoops. You end up with an armful of knickknacks that you put down in front of what is now a lamppost, but will soon be your canvas of choice. Then you get to work. The fabric you twirl all around the post. You tie the smaller objects, a snow globe, an old boot, a fancy Santa, onto it with string. On top, you perch a rubber Walmart goose that makes a majestically horrible noise when pressed. As your art piece comes together under your hands, you take a few steps back every now and then to appraise it from further away, making adjustments whenever you find something you're not happy with. Finally, it's complete. You turn to ask Charon's opinion, newly flushed with pride and adrenaline from having successfully made a thing. They don't look very impressed. Your face falls. What's wrong? Did you use too much orange? Were the scattered Lys's teeth a little too out there?
Listen, you're overthinking this. Just do what feels right.
You frown. Don't think at all then? Let your instincts drive you?
Thinking a little is probably good too.
Okay, don't overthinking it. Or don't overthink it, but don't abandon rational thought altogether. Let your feelings guide you, but not completely. Pretty vague, but sure, you'll give it another shot. You strip the lamppost back down. This time, you don't spend too long regarding it in all of its nude metal glory. You begin working immediately, whipping around Charov's hive in a flurry of cave dust and determination, grabbing things as soon as you lay eyes on them. Charon looks more and more fascinated the longer you're at it. It's not long until their eyes are positively gleaming. Soon they're taking step after tentative step towards you, as if drawn to you by the sheer force of your artistic energies. They look like they might want to join in, actually.
Is that okay? I see what you're going for, I think. Your vibe has got me all inspired.
Of course, the more the merrier. You'd love to see what the two of you could create together. With a barely there smile, Charon plants a terrific cone, or a traffic cone, at the base of the lamppost with great aplomb, and you're off. It's all a blur after that. The two of you move in unison, like you're co-piloting a Jaeger. Except instead of a giant robot, you're steering a feverish, creatively propelled fugue state.
Wow, I think we're almost done.
You stand back from your newly forged pile of bric-a-brac, mopping the sweat from your brow. They're right. You're almost finished. Almost. You need to add the finishing touch, the piece de résistance, and you know just the thing. With great conviction, you pick up a box from the floor, tearing it open so that its contents fall all over your sculpture.
Oh no. My polysacchariferous slates.
Polysacchariferous.
Polysacchariferous slats.
You freeze. Are those cooking ingredients? You seem to have gotten carried away. You start apologizing, but Charon is already waving your words away.
It's fine. Oh, it looks better like this. Too good to waste as food. Anyway, I can find other things to eat.
You both regard your creation, heaving for breath. You're done. As exhausted as you are, a wonderful calm settles over you as you admire the result of your hard work. I see you got a raid.
Yeah, I got a raid. Thank you, Nice Reaper, and hello, Video Synth. Thanks for the raid. We're doing this is Lulu. I should I should do a, well, first thing first I need to hit that shout out button.
I'm gonna grab a milk.
That, and then also collab. Or that, you drunk as fuck. Well, welcome in. Lulu's out, keep on getting. Okay, is that other shout out command not portion of the shout out not working? Okay, while Lulu's getting that milk, I'm going to make sure that this stupid shout out command is actually working. A singular milk. Now watch as OBS starts crashing.
All right. Now I have my drink back. A singular milk.
Hold on. You know what? Let me just do it like this. And then shout. I want. Oh wait, it might be because I already follow them. If y'all do y'all see, if you're not following Nice Reaper, a fucking little follow shout out thing? Because I've been trying to use Twitch's own little shout out thing because it allows you to follow without needing to actually go to their webpage. No. Fuck. I need to re-look at that. It's beautiful.
It really, really is. You don't know how because you don't think you'd actually done anything different compared to your first try. Maybe you just got lucky. But regardless of how exactly it came out, this is one of the most bizarrely sublime things you think you've ever laid eyes on in your life. The longer you stare at it, the more layers and depth reveal themselves to you, like the petals of a newly bloomed flower opening to the sunlight of spring. Abruptly, irresistibly, you feel yourself gripped in the throes of profound new knowledge. Charon's artworks are pointless and weird, but perhaps that's what gives them their charm. In such an uncertain and violent world, where troll culls troll, and where you might be trapped in an endless Sisyphean journey across the planet in search of new friends, for a brief moment, you can have this. You stand there, awash and appreciative what the fuck at this masterpiece you've crafted out of a bunch of other people's trash, marveling at how you've birthed something greater than yourself. Sometimes, trash can be beautiful. You think you understand now. This is what Charon must have been endeavoring to teach you. You beam at them, glowing with the joy of your discovery.
Yeah. Sure. If you say so. Sure, you're right. Wait. Anyways, have a good night, Nice Reaper. And also, congrats on your new mic. But, oh god. Like, okay.
Oh, nice. New mic.
Every sentence seemed like it was going to be the end, and it just kind of kept going for a second. I was like, why do you keep going? But hey, we're able to squeeze in even before 1 a.m. The next one. Yeah. See, because then we will have 16, 17, and 18 next time. And 19.
And 16 is both me.
Yep.
Which I feel bad for, but also, god damn, these last two have been extremely narrative heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to narrate.
Yeah. Hey, now that you've gone and thought about the concept of purpose, you might as well make one up for yourself. You turn your walk towards the book hive. A handful of your friends hangs out there, and there are a few. I know, and there are a few rooms that are generally pretty danger free. So why not? It's a little difficult to make yourself walk past the spookier rooms, but you manage to avoid the siren song of the brain room once more. Your destination tonight is the room you usually watch your teal friends do homework in. It's understandable, after your office experience with Torona, why this is their neutral meeting ground. Unfortunately, a casual stroll through the stacks uncovers no friends at all. Damn. You consider trying out a higher stakes locale when, wait, you see a shoe peeking out from one of the bigger hexagonal book hole things. Shelves? It really doesn't maximize space to have shelves shaped like that. Whatever. If you get caught up with trying to make the paltry shit like troll bookshelves make sense, you'll drive yourself to madness before you can figure out if this shoe belongs to someone you know. You walk toward it, and the shoe is revealed to be one on a strut pod of a troll whose head is barely peeking out over a book. And nope, a jade, but not one of your friends. Whoever it is curls up smaller in the hexagon, burying her face deeper into a scribble journal of a gullible wiggler. It's not the most inviting.
Wimpy kid.
Yeah. It's not the most inviting posture, to be sure. The polite thing to do would be to keep moving, probably, but you feel a little off about that. You gently nudge your foot into hers, where it still peeks out of the shelf, and ask if she's okay. It'll clear your conscience, if nothing else. The book lowers.
I'm great! Just going on a journey of the imagination through some classical literature. Nothing to see here.
Ah, man, it's another kid. You know, young trolls have to handle themselves as much as older ones, but as well acquainted as you are with the facade of pretending you're exactly where you're supposed to be, you get the feeling that she's not exactly telling the truth. So you're equipped to help. Plus, it's not like you haven't befriended a few tween sweep equivalents here on Alternia already. You successfully didn't get murdered by Amicia, and you did a passable job of befriending Torona and Caraco. Caraco.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fucked up because that's not how I look at that name. Though sometimes you wake up shaking, the remnants of a dream where you felt them on loop in your brain, you shake that horror from your mind and try not to look as non-threatening as possible. Not that it's particularly hard for you, as you speak.
So you've got two options. Ask her if Branya is around, or ask her if she's seen the brain room.
Yeah.
Why are they in all caps? I don't remember the rest of them being all caps.
Some of them have been, but not the last couple. Yelling. Pick your yelling option. But no, it's like saying Caraco is weird because I just want to say Caraco because that's how you would.
Yeah, Caraco. Caraco Piero.
Ra. But I want to say Ra.
All right, you guys have a significant
advantage. Wait,
significant lead on me, but I'm gonna start voting now just to counter everyone.
Wow.
You better.
You motherfuckers better not tie this shit. I swear to fucking Christ, every goddamn time. Okay, number one.
Y'all lost.
Okay, ask her if Branya's around. Did she come here with someone? Branya, maybe? You know, Jades her age aren't really supposed to be out and about outside the caverns.
What do you mean, cheater, Red Mage Lala? I was one person.
Oh, I see. You're a snitch. One she out, uwu.
With that, she tucks her legs against her, up against her, and rolls out of the shelf with the agility only youth can manage, and takes off between the stacks. You chase after her, but wherever her next hiding spot is, must be even better. Eventually, you give up. Sonic.
Youth roll.
Sonic.
That's a youth roll is a callback to the early chapters of Homestuck.
Talent
Easily.
talent shouldn't vote. Nah, I think talent should be able to vote. Only I, the broadcaster, cannot vote. You still
you
get
could.
No, I can't. If I make the poll, you can't actually vote.
Well, that sucks.
You still get the feeling she might need some help, so you ease into it. Maybe she'll open up a bit as you talk. You tell her this book has a huge gallery full of brains in jars. If she wants to go check it out.
Hello? What's a brain? I want to see.
She unfolds herself from her hiding spot, brushing invisible dust off her skirt. As she stands up, she rocks back on her heels and cocks her head, her locks bouncing against her shoulders.
I'm Onesie. Also, I know who you are if you were wondering. I wouldn't go wandering off with just anyone, quest for brains or not. I may only be 5.5 sweeps, but I'm not stupid, uwu.
She
That's
seems
like
less afraid.
10.
She seems less afraid, but she's still got a nervous edge to her voice. So you try to be a force of calm, a real motherfucking Glade plug-in of Zen, stinking up
Calm
the
with a K.
place with your chill vibes. What?
Calm with a K.
Calm.
Calm.
You walk together towards the atrium, make a small talk on the way. You apologize if you make it seem like she didn't look like she belonged here. You're just not used to seeing young jades outside the caverns. She side-eyes you like she's weighing the implications of what you just said.
Okay, I see there's no use trying to fool you. I may have done a small jailbreak.
Oh, do they not have enough books in the caverns or something? She brushes you off in favor of her own question.
Of course we have books. You didn't answer me before. What's a brain?
Oh, right. You round the curve of the room and point to in the window. Think pants.
Oh, well?
On her tiptoes, she peeks into the bottom of the window.
I've never seen one up close before.
She tries the door handle, but it's still as locked as it always was. She looks at you expectantly.
Well, can we go in or what?
Your surly-eyed guard starts not so subtly watching you, drumming her fingers on the handle of her mace. And globes. You're trying so hard to be cool and approachable that you fucked up and forgot that this room was off limits. Taking the kid to break and enter is, well, it's pretty much par for the course, actually. But it's not what you meant to be doing. Nah, you saw it. Looking only. And now you're done. Great. Time to move along.
Lame.
Once she doesn't pick up on the danger behind her, even with your hurried speech, you change the subject to why she broke out of the caverns, if not for more books, and start walking, hoping she'll follow you. She doesn't.
Oh, I was trying to get to BeastCon. It's a conversation for all kinds of cool stuff, but I want to go for the Soldier Per Beast meetup. My fanfiction is pretty popular, uwu. I have a lot of fans going, and I thought maybe I could make friends with some of them. But I don't know where anything is out here, so I got lost.
She takes a breath and a step, and finally, but then stops and claps her hands together.
Oh!
The guard starts walking. You eyeball the exits all the way down the curved staircase. You could make it, but you can't just leave her here to take the fall. Once she keeps talking, obviously, oblivious.
Nera is always complaining about how you're everyone's best friend and how you know so much. Do you know where the con is? Well, we could go together.
The guard gets closer. You gotta make a decision, and fast. Okay,
I want to point something out here.
Hmm.
It's not just a guard. That's a librarian.
Are we gonna take the child to her first convention so she can get a whiff of con smell? Ooh, what's wrong, Freezy? Are you being upset at all the ooh speak? Give her the Pax box. Oh no. Oh wait, I can vote. I thought I can't vote. Oh no, I can't do predictions. That's what it was. I couldn't do predictions. If you're the person who makes a prediction, you absolutely cannot influence it. But polls, I can. Who's saying that's...
Who's... Okay, listen, shush.
420. Who plays it?
Exactly. 420.
Whoops.
I just wanted to blaze it, okay?
Anything to get you both out of here. Grabbing her hand, you say you know the way and make a run for the door. She whoops and scurries down the stairs behind you. A quick glance back at the guard, taking her hand off her mace, reassures you that you move fast enough. Once you're around the corner from the book hive, you stop and catch your breath.
Why stop now? Lead the way, alien friend.
You wave her enthusiasm off. She's out of breath herself. She can hold her hoofbeats for a minute while you locate your fucking bearings. Fucking bearings? And think? Wow, I don't know why you would go with fucking, but eh. You looked this con up earlier when Tegiri and Polipa invited you. They said it was fun, that the death toll was high enough to be interesting, low enough to be manageable, and that you'd be safe with them. Still, you chicken out. You guess changing your mind and going could be okay. You're definitely anxious about bringing Wanshi along, but it seems like she's hell-bent on attending anyways, so maybe the best thing you can do is be a responsible chaperone. Plus, none of your friends make you feel better protected than Polipa. Google Maps says it's not far. Well, you've dealt with plenty of dangerous clusterfucks before, so what's one more? You're on a regular Giles Corey of bullshit scenarios. Pile those some bitches on.
Isn't it
You
Giles,
bow as
Corey?
Giles?
Giles?
Oh, Giles. You bow as you gesture down the sidewalk that will lead you towards the outskirts of town. Wanshi curtsies and follows your direction. It seems like she doesn't need you to come up with things to talk about. She's like a chatty sunflower, pulled toward the bright newness of everything she sees, and chock full of commentary about all of it.
Wow, I've read all about moonlight, but seeing it make everything glow was totally different. Look at the dew on this prickle frond. If you get up close and look, you can see a reflection of your own eye in the moons.
You do as she does, and damn if it ain't a bunch of orbs reflected back at you, floating on the curve of her purple gleam meniscus? Yeah. Her curiosity isn't overwhelming or draining in the slightest. You tell her it's kind of nice, actually, to meet someone else who is experiencing this place for the first time.
Yeah, the caverns are fine, but there's so much to see out here, oh well. Everyone else sneaks out. I don't know why it took me so long to try. No, actually I do. Getting in trouble sucks and I hate it. But it worked out. Here we are, experiencing it all together.
Yeah, you can feel your anxiety lifting, just a little. Just the part that's applicable to this particular situation. Still, that's a win. Walking and talking and taking in the night makes time pass quickly. You ask her how she ended up in the book hive to begin with.
I snuck out when Lanera was supposed to be giving me some boring jade duty lesson. But with yelling. I don't have a palm husk, so I couldn't look at the con or look up the con once I was away from my husk top. I just wandered till I gave up and found the book hive.
That's a powerful nerd. That's a powerful nerd homing beacon she must have. One she flexes.
You know it.
You smell what's around the corner before you see it. Having sidestepped your fair share of corpses in your travel, and your hand in creating a few more, you know how prepared yourself. Wanshi, on the other hand, you know the brooding caverns aren't some diaper baby summer camp of innocence, but you're also not sure how much viscera you may or may not have seen. No matter your respective levels of gore viewing experience, you both stop short when it comes into view.
Whoa.
She takes a tentative step towards what's left of the troll, and then retreats, hovering close to you. It feels like you should keep moving, like you should avert your eyes and carry on, or whatever the fuck before the drones come by to clean it up. But she's still staring. Her steps, when she finally takes them, are soft. She crouches down and leans in with reverent scrutiny.
It looks different, not in a jar.
You wonder to yourself, as Wanshi shakily takes it all in, if bloodthirstiness is only a trait only certain trolls are born with, or if they have it grounded into them by necessity, by expectation, by entitlement, by fear. Next, because your brain is wired around itself, you wonder the same about humans. Wait. Once she doesn't look away for a while, you go over and put your hand on her shoulders. She stands up and walks away with you. There's no ceremony to it, no placing of leaves over the remains, no prayer.
I don't get...
She doesn't finish her sentence. She takes your hand and pulls you back in the direction you were walking. She looks confused, like she's still trying to work out what she just saw. You guessed you could have given her more time to process it, but you're not sure comprehending death is really a thing that you can just, figure out in the wilderness with an alien in one night. After a few minutes of silence, you point out the call of some flat beast, and she mimics it, and smiles. Soon after, the pointy-topped tents of the Khan rise up over the horizon. Once she starts running, dragging you behind her.
Oh shit, here we come!
She's vibrating out of her skin. You're basically doing the same, though it's less of an excitement thing and more of an emotional whiplash thing. Whatever, you can work with that. You attempt to dig into the new vibe as you walk up to the gates. There are vendors and artists and trolls all around. It's like some unholy combination of Anime Con and Renaissance Fair, but with more people walking around sporting recently inflicted limps. In an attempt not to focus on that, you look around for your other friends and ask her what she's excited to see and do here before her meetup starts. Does she want snacks? It looks like there are snacks.
Yeah, I could want some frazzled saccharine fluff candy in a bit. But yeah, there's a lot to do, Awo. There's the polar bear riding, the cosplay competition, the...
You cut her off. Does he mean cosplay? There are trolls you think might be into cosplay, or that's just like how some trolls dress.
Yeah, there's that too, if you don't want to get your claws too bloody.
Ah, jeez. There's the old nerves coming back. You really hope that bringing her here was okay. There are other young trolls roaming around, so you're probably good? You try not to think of the body you saw as an omen. There are bodies all over the place here on Alternia. You pull out your palm husk and consider your friends. You can message Polypa or Tagiri to see where they're at, but your thumb gravitates towards Branya's gripe profile. Right when you decide you're being dumb and pocket your phone, a lot happens at once. Wanshi starts to pull you towards a dude in a utilikilt handing out flyers, a bowel rendering sound rends as well, your bowels, and then a massive armored bear with huge beefy biceps hurtles through the grounds, hollering and grinding tins and congors like into a bent, splintered pulp. Wanshi stares, frozen, as the beast rampages towards you both.
Oh no!
She whimpers and looks at you, comprehension and fear etched into her features. You did this. You brought her here. You let this happen to her, and she knows it. You picture 100 outcomes, 1,000,000. You want to work towards the end you see where you save everyone who hasn't already gotten squished. You are elected grand human, and no one ever gets fucking trampled again. But there's no time for that one. Instead, you pick up Wanshi, give her a quick hug, and throw her into the closest bush. With what less of your adrenaline-filled noodle arm strength, you reach out for the handle of the katana from the vendor's rack and hope to fuck it's not only for display. You never felt less prepared to take something on in your life. You never felt more sure you had to. In the end, it's no choice at all. The beast charges you, teeth bared and rainbow bloody. You hold your position, pinky ring finger tight near the bottom of the handle like Tagiri taught you. When it leaps at you, tackling to the ground, you bury the blade into its chest. The Chlor bear lays on top of you. Kohler bear.
Yeah, like polar.
Well, yeah. Oh, wow. The last of its life twinging out as it presses your life out of your lungs in return. Through your darkening vision and under the furry dead weight pinning you to the ground, you see her from the edge of the woods, eyes wide and watery with understanding. Wanshi picks herself up. You died. There will be no frog con. No, that was
Frog con.
All right, I guess we'll get to the what?
What was that?
No, for some reason, hovering
Venom.
over here is actually
Wait. Dead Cells, Venom Yang, Nami Rocket. What?
Okay, Venom Yang is one person that I'm friends with on Steam. Dead Cells is a game. Same thing with Nami Rocket being a person I know on Steam. Glitches. Oh, that's not good.
Something up with your computer there?
I don't know. Pretend to take her.
Yeah.
You've heard of the con she's talking about. You were thinking of going with Tagiri and Polipo anyways, but the list of activities seem a little too dangerous, honestly. These past few months, you've been up to your ass in close calls, and you'd quite frankly like to cut back on them, including, the one your ass is currently embroiled in. You make some non-committal noises as you work out how to tell her. Once she crosses her arms and leans back against the brain room door, which the guard really does not like, if her increased speed and mace brandishment is any indication. Okay, yeah, you say. Let's go right now. Your hype is contagious, even though you're completely faking it. She claps and bounds behind you down the stairs. A quick tug at her wrist pulls her out of the mace's trajectory as the guard chucks it at you from far above. It thuds mightily against the wall by the door, and you both make it outside unbloodied. Checking behind you to confirm that you're not being followed, you don't stop running until you're both safely around the corner. Wanshi giggles through catching her breath.
Wow, that was a close one. Librarians, am I right?
She grins and takes your hands.
Can you believe we only just met and you're already having bonding hijinks? I didn't think making a friend would be so simple. I can't wait to hang out even more at the con.
Her smile is like a knife in your pusher. She's so excited about your budding friendship. And here you are, gutlessly hiding the fact that you have no intention of taking her from one dangerous situation to another. Maybe you would have agreed if you were in a braver mood, but you just don't know if you're up for more life or death babysitting adventures right now. What you should do, probably, is get her home. You don't tell her any of this, of course. Instead, you agree and then check Google Maps. The con is down the road to the left. The caverns are to the right. Leading her straight back home would be too obvious, so you take a meandering route. Everything you pass seems to impress her. The frankly bonkers range of architecture styles, the shivering carnivorous plants, the burnout wreckage of someone's hive, the flickering starlight all around. She's observing a worm crossing the sidewalk. Wait.
Out here? All squishy and brave? Oh, well.
When you point out a cool rock, eager to keep her wonderment going.
Really?
She puts a hand on her cocked hip.
You think we don't have rocks in the caverns? Try harder.
She rolls her eyes at you, but she's still grinning. You accept the challenge and tell her there's something she's definitely never seen up ahead.
Bring it.
You lead the way. It's been a hot minute since you've been back over here. You're interested to see it again. Still, this side John feels like delaying the inevitable. You know she's going to be pissed at you when she realizes you tricked her. Sorry, it was Steam notification. Tricked her, but you can't help wanting to show off more cool stuff while you can. Anything to see that wide-eyed appreciation for any tiny new thing. What's left of your spaceship comes in view as we round the bend. There really isn't that much left to show off, but once she is still into it, she runs over and starts inspecting the rubble. You wonder what happens to the freshly missing parts. Maybe Vicaire has come back to scavenge some more. Shit. Vicaire. You haven't talked to that guy in forever. You vowed to text him later tonight, but you still feel guilty. It's hard to juggle all these beautiful friends, even with how viscerally you crave them. You want to be good for everyone, but there are so many things that can mean, and you never stop feeling like you're treading water. Once she emerges from the hull, clambering up on some top of the black metal box, and waving around some inscrutable rusty bullshit.
Oh, whoa! There are so many fiddly little parts! This was how you got here?
She observes you for a second or two, then nods for her approval.
That's pretty cool.
Any old idiot can wreck a spaceship. It takes someone with brains to break out of the brooding caverns.
Well, when you put it that way, you're completely right. Woo.
She winks and pockets some of the pieces.
Are you ready to keep moving? I don't want to miss the meetup, and it's happening right after Horseroni jousting, which should be ending pretty soon.
You're not sure what to tell her. For some reason, Vicaire won't leave your mind. Your sorry ass hasn't managed to keep up with all the friends you did earn. Maybe it's for the best that you're deciding to take her home. Her safety is more important than her liking you. You sigh and start to fess up. Even if she left here now, you're far enough away from the con grounds that she'd miss it. You're afraid to go. Afraid she'd run off if you didn't stick with her. Afraid of not knowing what to do next.
You what? You made me miss my one chance to do something fun for a change? Just because you're too much of a scaredy purr beast to go to a fun nerd party?
It wasn't just that. You also wanted to keep her safe, to take her home. She stomps her foot in frustration, tears forming in the corner of her eyes.
Why do you think you can just make decisions for other people? Why don't you go home if that's so great?
Your mouth shuts, words gone. She follows your gaze back to the wreck of your only shot out and winces.
I didn't mean... I know you can't. I just wanted...
She sits down in the grass, defeated. You sit too, a ginger distance away. No, her anger is fair. God, this sucks. You hadn't meant to deprive someone of a small joy here on this bitch of an Alternia.
Yeah, it's the worst.
She sighs and runs her claws along the tops of the spiny purple grass. After a few minutes of silence, she speaks.
Too late to do anything about it now. I'm still super angry with you. But I'm glad you were honest, I guess. Even if it took you too long. I'm not used to people being straight with me. I feel like the older everyone gets, the more they lie. Or at least, the more annoying it is they don't expect you to notice when they're lying. Not that I can super tell how old you are. Your alien physiology is a little inscrutable, but you know. More or less.
Your palm buzzes, interrupting your train of thought. You both look at your next two texts, or your two new texts. That's you.
Are you sure you still don't want to join? Things are beginning to get interesting over here, and you may have the privilege of seeing me at peak performance if you come by.
Stay put. There's a polar bear on the loose. Collar.
It's like cholera, but
collar
bear.
There's a cholesterol bear on the loose. I don't want you already. I don't want you on the already very long casualty list. You do a quick gorgle, and holy shit, social media is already on fire with the news of a con attraction getting free and mangling attendees left and right. The familiar ghostly feeling of a near miss shivers down your back.
Whoa.
Her eyebrows pull together as she works through the images she's seeing on the screen and what it could have meant for her. She's still a little teary from before.
I guess. Thanks? Not that you did it on purpose, but I guess maybe it worked out okay. I do love not being trampled, but it still sucks I didn't get to go make friends.
Have a good night, Video Synth.
Yeah, good night, Video Synth.
You don't want to be too presumptuous, especially after all that.
Mwah.
But maybe this day might still be salvageable, new acquaintance-wise? Banshee blinks back her disappointment and puts on an attempt at a smile.
Maybe. Might as well see.
What was she going to do with her new friends? Maybe you could, on your way back to the cavern, you guys could talk about soldier purpose or scary horse jousting or whatever she wanted to do there. She stands up and crosses her arms, looking you over, her smile turning real.
You think you've got what it takes to roleplay?
You stand up too. You're super cool with roleplay. You've basically been doing that since you've landed. So what's the deal again? You ask as you start walking her home. Magic cats?
Magic? What are you, some kind of wriggler? No, there's no magic in soldier purbeasts.
She rolls her eyes at you and then hunches her shoulders, claws spread, eyes darting from bush to bush along the sidewalk ahead of you.
Unless you mean the power of your own wits, the sorcery of all your senses aligning at once as you get ready to pounce, the hypnotic spell-like rhythm of your own pusher beating in time with your praise.
She straightens up and grins.
That kind of stuff, oh well? Anyway, it's really fun. Let's play.
She bounced back so fully, you get the feeling that not many people indulge her in this. It reminds you of your younger self, and your heart crunches up a bit. Fuck yeah, let's play. You mean heck yeah.
Don't patronize me.
Fuck yeah. Once she giggles.
Fuck yeah! Okay, so little less you can be from the Space Cast. Let's call you Twinkle Pop. I'll be Wild Wisp from the Solar Glare clan, uwu.
She clearly seems to think that you should be impressed or intimidated by this, but you don't really know what's going on, so you nod. Twinklepaw. Got it.
Anybody here recognize any of the shit that's going on? Because this is a huge fucking reference to some shit that I didn't know about until after I read all of this.
I'm assuming Warrior Purpy sounds like it should be Thundercats or something related to cat. Either that or SWAT cats.
It's Soldier Purbeasts. And no, not Thundercats. It's a bit more direct.
SWAT cats?
Has anyone here ever heard of Warrior Cats?
Oh.
The novel series.
Ah, it's that type of shit.
It's a series of young adult novels or child. I don't fucking know if it's young adult or kid stuff, but
no.
Soldier Purbeasts, Warrior Cats. It's some shit. My girlfriend likes it a lot. I completely missed the generation of my host body.
Yeah.
It's more new. So it's like a Zoomer thing.
Okay, so like that makes sense, because if it was any kind of young adult series with that nerds would read growing up, when I was growing up, it was probably Red Rawl or something like that.
Hey Freezy, do you have any inkling?
No.
You ever hear about warrior cats?
No,
Like, anyone? You got a kid or like a nephew or something? They should be all about that shit.
Nope. Well, I mean, my cousin has a little kid, but I've never interacted with them at all, so...
Oh, I meant Freezy. I don't know how old Freezy is.
Who knows?
Anyway.
So you'll stumble upon me while I'm taking down a nut creature, scaring it away with your incompetence. Sound good?
She peppers her walk with skips, talking up a veritable storm of world building. Her voice gets low and rumbling when she quits setting the scene and gets into character.
Little one, what do you think you're doing, setting strut paw in our territory? You've made me lose my creature feast. What do you have to say for yourself?
Ah, fuck, it's your turn. You didn't see where you were going. You're sorry, though. You know how hard it is to come by a good meal.
Fool! You think me so poor a tracker that I am hurt by such a loss? I can find another. I find offense only in that you clearly do not respect the bond between hunter and hunted. You blunder in and interrupt the sacred rhythm of my fangs, its neck, or its claws my face. Now neither of us can know who would have prevailed.
Ah, geez, you're still, like, really sorry about those your strut paws. You're constantly sticking those into other people's sacred dances. Maybe there are some more nut guys over there? Once he stops walking, it gives you a withering look.
Is that really the best you can do?
No, you'll try again. How dare this perv beast accuse you of such a thing? Your intentions are as noble as the wild pusher that thumps in your, bone cabinet. Once he bounces, hands and fists, grinning.
Oh, well. A little over the top and not really a StarCast approach, but you're getting there.
You practice finding your soldier's characterization sweet spot as you walk her home. You take the most direct route, but you let her stop to explain Perpy's grooming habits, to breathe in the rotting perfume of a flower, and to appreciate yet another sidewalk braving worm. Eventually, you reach the cave entrance, you know. And standing there under its eave is Linera, a very pissed-looking Linera, which isn't your favorite mode for that particular friend.
Where have you been? I said I'd be right back. Not, hey, go run off and leave me to make excuses for you. Well, I'm back now, so you can get over it. I know you don't tattle. You don't want Bronya to know you lost track of me. Ooh. Watch yourself.
Linera glares fireballs at her and then turns to you, softening the tiniest of bits.
Thank you for bringing the short one back. Do you want to come in?
You appreciate her politeness, but nah, you should go and let the Jays settle down and everything. Plus, you have another friend you need to check up on. Before you can say anything to Wanchi about how you hope she ended up having an okay time, she scurries off around the corner, calling back over her shoulder.
Wait, I have something I want to give you before you go.
So you wait. Linera keeps looking at you, arms still crossed.
You better be glad she's okay. If she got hurt, I could never... I mean, I would be in so much trouble.
You don't have to call her on her secretly caring, because once she comes back, running back with something in her hands, her hair bounding behind her.
Here! Read this. Then maybe when you come back to visit me, you'll be, a little more informed about the Soldier Purpose universe. Ooh. I only have one person to play with here, and he usually pretends...
Oh no.
Pretends he's too cool, like he doesn't absolutely love Purpose cast drama.
She bows a little as she offers the book to you. It is tattered with love.
What did I swallow?
Oh no.
It's my personal copy, but I think I can trust you with it, Twinkle Paw. What do you say, Awo?
You clutch it to your chest and tell her you regard it with all the honor and spitfire Starcast has to its hallowed name.
Best book buddies.
Wow, she's way taller than I thought she would be.
Dude, she's only... I mean, yo, she's 5 sweeps, not 3. So that's like, it's like 10 or 11 and a half.
True.
Because it's like every sweep is like 2-ish years or like 1.5. Yeah, I don't know.
Something.
It's not totally even.
Yeah.
But actually, that was the last one we needed to do tonight.
Yeah, we got through all 3 chapters pretty quickly, which hopefully means that next time these 3 chapters can go by super fast.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess I should go over here to.
What do you mean, Freezy? Oh well.
Oh well. Come on, that is actually probably one of the better little kids I've ever seen in a story.
Now I know what voice to put on if Freezy starts acting like a little shit again.
Anyways, hey, tomorrow Yakuza 5, we'll finish this out on Thursday. I will say I might be a little late on Thursday. I have somewhere that I need to do in the evening, and even though it sounds like I should be back on time, I never will. There's always the chance of something stupid happening. So hopefully we can get through that. And hey, even though we're $170 away from the funny Balan, it's probably still going to be Tribal Hunter. But yeah, we're still probably going to do Tribal Hunter on Saturday and Sunday, and hopefully be done.
Everyone just wants to watch you vor everyone.
Yeah, I mean that's what it sounds like.
They're trying to get closer to that authentic Frogman vibe.
Let me see. I have multiple choices. Oh wait. Okay, let me see if Willowson is still going, because I think I want to raid into Willowson if he's still playing AI. Hopefully he's still going.
I have stopped recording.
Oh.
Officially, just so you know.
Come on, Twitch, fucking load.
So who are you writing?
Willowson maybe, if he's not stopping soon, because he's already at 4 hours. Okay, doesn't seem like it, but he's at, I think, one of the actual endings, maybe. Okay, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. AI to Somnium Files is a really funny game. Date is 100% the biggest perv in fiction, considering that he's not only a foot gremlin but likes the bone structure of some lady.
All right, well, me and one viewer it's just me rating.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for just coming by tonight, stopping by, rating in and everything. Stay safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow night with Yakuza 5. We'll finish up side stories from Saejima and whatnot. And yeah, have a good night.
Love you all. Mwah. And I'm clicking raid now.